for the better part of a decade, all we heard was, I wish some company would just come along and make a better Tarkov. And whether or not this is a better Tarkov, I don't know. I don't care. But everyone's been asking for this for fucking years. So some company comes along and goes, yoink.
Exactly, bro. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, a show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I am one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam.
And I am Grunkite. How's it going, pal?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm slowly becoming a lawn guy. I never thought it would happen, dude.
Oh, shit, Dad. Are your Adidas all starting to get stained? Your New Balances? Your New Balances starting to turn green?
Yeah, dude. Oh, my God. I spent this whole week, dude.
Tell me all about it. Dude, I've been playing Lawn Mowing Simulator, so like I'm totally basically.
You're there, yeah, 100%, dude. I hate yard work. I hate going outside, but like we got the house, so it's our lawn now. You know, the vibe had just been ignore all yard work and all the rentals, and just right before we moved, do something about it. But like the grass was so nice when we moved, and it's like dying, and the lawn's a little uneven, and our sprinklers were like low, and so they weren't. I literally just figured out how to use our sprinkler system. We lived here for 8 months. We hadn't turned the sprinklers on a single time. Oh, and so and I just, it's the way I am. I can't help it. I think you're the same way. I just if I'm gonna do it, I do it all the way. Like I just was I just woke up from a fever dream and now know what like the minerals my grass needs are and the ratios they need them in and what time of year and pre-emergence and post-emergence and fertilizers and aerators and grass height and what, and it's just I can't not do it. I just do the research. I just consume it all. You know what I mean? And so
I'm waiting for my I have like landscaping done here because I can't be fucked. But when we eventually get around to fucking building, I'm like, it's up on a shelf right now that's like, now I flip the switch and unlock the lawn. I don't want to Google anything.
Yeah.
Until then.
Yep. For sure. And it is a switch. Like I could not have cared any less until we it's like, it's our house. And here's the thing too, is we moved to a house with noise grass. Like our lawn was
Florida grass is like built different too.
So dude. Different. It's it's St. Augustine
thick with 4 C's.
Yeah. It's like there aren't like you can't buy.
Did you just say it's St. Augustine?
It's St. Augustine grass. That's what it's called.
Oh, of course. You know, like
well, of course,
genre of grass.
Yeah, dude, Bermuda grass. You know, St. Augustine, Zoysia. They all need different things.
Avant-garde fucking follicles,
bro. But so what I was saying is that's the thing is that we moved into a house and the lawn was like really good looking and really full and really like picturesque. And then
okay, 1 sec. I just Googled St. Augustine grass and the first thing I see is a fucking gray-haired dude flexing, holding the grass, and the thumbnail says thick.
Is that lawn care nut?
The lawn care nut.
I'm not making this up, dude. I'm in deep. Okay? I'm in deep. And so
Silver Fox Daddy over
if we
here.
moved into a house that had an ugly lawn, I wouldn't care to resurrect it. But we moved into a house with a great lawn and I'm letting it die. You know what I mean? That changes it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you.
So Saturday, I'm going to go out and aerate the lawn and fertilize it. And then a month from now, I'm going to be putting down top dressing. I got to get a bunch of sand and
is aerate
dirt.
Like, so you know when you make like a TV dinner, you take the fork and you poke the holes in the plastic. Is that basically
Dude, yes. Yes.
different? It's like different purposes, but
that is precisely
there's like a roller that you just like.
Yeah, they make big giant rollers that you have to like drive them. I'm not going to get one of those. That just pokes holes in the ground and pulls up the plugs all over the lawn because the ground gets too compacted.
Oh, so it doesn't just, it's not just like
it's not
needles,
just a spike. No,
I've seen those like little like fucking turd looking things.
You can do it that way, but doing it that way, you're basically, the ground is compact and you're just smushing it even more. Like you are creating a hole, but you're not removing anything. So you're just smushing it. So you can do that way. I got like a little, dude, there's liquid aeration you can do with chemicals now. And that's what I'm doing. But also I got
on
this
his hands and knees and goes,
okay, I'm going to breathe.
I'm aerating it.
And then all of a sudden it's just green.
Yeah. But I figured out how to identify what's wrong. Like we have areas that are compacted and areas that aren't, and so I gotta aerate it.
You listen.
Yeah, you gotta keep your ear to the ground with the St. Augustine grass.
Mineral deficiency.
We don't have enough nitrogen in the grass.
Oh, there you go.
NPK.
There you go. You just get out your table of elements and
NPK.
And
what are they?
What'd you say? NBK?
NPK. Nitrogen?
Nitrogen, potassium.
Well, no.
And
you're right, but you're wrong.
Well, potassium's the K.
Potassium's K, yes.
Yeah. And then P is petroleum jelly.
Petroleum jelly, yes.
You gotta just you gotta lube up the grass.
Yeah. The P is phosphorus.
I knew that. I was testing you.
Anyways, bro, so that's all I'm into.
I'm like ready. I'm probably gonna get one of those like $6,000 zero turn sexy ass.
That's the way to do it.
Oh my god.
That's the way to do it.
And the crazy, you gotta wonder if like lawn mowing sim, if they paid to like license those brands should have paid them.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'm literally gonna buy like probably based on lawn mowing sim.
Yep. Yep. That's actually hilarious.
What was it? Stag? The stag, like, dude, just Google fucking stag turf tiger 2.
Oh, this is gonna be bad.
Oh.
The stag turf. Oh my god. $13,000.
Yeah, dog. Yeah, did I say stag? I meant skag.
Yeah, it auto-corrected. Bro. You're gonna see me out there. My lawn's too small for that, but you see me out there anyway. 2 turns and I'm done in that thing. Oh my god. What have you been up to?
I'm fucking trying to finish up the documentary, bro. What
are you at now? Because like 2 weeks ago, you're like, I've got an hour and a half done. Last week, you're like, I got 2.5 hours done.
So I've been kind of bouncing around with what I've been like actually editing. Total, I have somewhere between around 3.5 hours, and I've finished like 75%. So it's gonna be like 4.5, I think.
Dude, wouldn't the dream be for like Netflix to approach you and be like, dude, we want you to make a documentary about something?
You see, here's
6-part series.
I like that the thought comes into my head and I'm like, and then I instantly think of like a dozen other YouTube channels like Melody Sheep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if they don't have a Netflix series, then what the fuck am I even thinking?
That's true.
Look, what am I even fucking thinking?
That's true. It's true.
Like, it's just not even on the same level, dude. So,
it just depends. Time and place, though. Time and place, right? Because Eric, my buddy, he was in the Netflix documentary and did some drone work for them because time and place. He was doing stuff about that case, that Murdoch case. Netflix wanted to make a doc about it, so they linked up, and it was so maybe it'll bring it. Maybe Netflix wants to do another flat Earth documentary, and it'll be perfect.
So here's the thing. I feel like I would need like a fucking crew or something because
For sure.
I am so woefully ignorant on like taking this camera off the tripod and like changing settings.
Dude, you and Eric would be unstoppable.
There you go. I mean, like, yeah. So, and speaking of, I completely forgot about this, and this is something that like has the potential to be huge, but like, I don't know. I want to say like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. Nah, about a month ago. No, about 2 months ago. This YouTube channel came out of nowhere. I believe it's called The Final Experiment.
Interesting.
And you can tell it was made by a flat earther because it's an audio visual fucking nightmare. It's got like white bars on the left and right.
Oh my God.
And it's got like terrible font. And like one of the videos that they did, like the second one that they did, I can't even. Okay, I just have to pull it up because it's indescribable. You just kind of have to see it.
Indescribable.
So, okay, I'm not going to plug in the audio, but can you hear that?
Yeah.
That is just playing the whole video.
No. Is he talking over that?
People talk.
Oh, no.
Okay. But, so that's playing the, right? And then the entire video, this is like it just takes the things and it puts them on like a chrome sphere.
They're bubbles, man. The theme is the bubble.
And then just like, what the fuck? It's 15 minutes of this. Of like, what were they thinking with the aesthetic? They literally did like the perspective warp, the like,
yeah, yep, in the background,
and didn't like pin the edges, like. So it's just black, like look at that. What is this? But so effectively, what this is it's like, it's coming. We've invited, I forget, they said like, I think it was like 20 content creators from the flat earth / globe earth debunking, like communities. And we are going to this is the final experiment. We are going to all get together and do something that's going to be definitive, whatever. As far as my understanding is, I have a feeling 5/13. Okay, in a couple of days there's this thing premiering. I guess it's about the man behind. I don't think anybody really knows who's behind the channel.
Oh my God.
But I think they're gonna go to Antarctica.
Oh, yes, dude, that's what we need.
Because that's like a big thing. Like, A, the flat earthers say you can't go to Antarctica.
Yeah.
But B, the flat earth quote unquote map / model, for the most part, I mean, no one can agree on anything, but effectively it's the Antarctica is like the ice wall around the planet.
Yeah.
As opposed to it's a little snow cap on the bottom, right? So it's like, if you were to circumnavigate, are you on the inside ring of a loop or are you around?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they would go there and then like try to traverse it or something and like not die. I mean, they're all morons.
Yeah.
Like the flat earth.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
that's crazy.
Now reached out and was like,
oh, man.
let me know, because if it's Antarctica, I'm sure a bunch of the people are going to be like, I can't fucking pull that off, right? And I was like, I'm a content creator that's kind of new to this space. I'm working on a documentary. Like, let me know. And I got an email. Hey, Mike, thanks for reaching out to the final experiment. We will need someone on the trip to handle filming and would be happy to discuss this further with you. We will be releasing our final video on May 13th. Let's plan on connecting after that. Imagine if dude, it's like,
bro.
If they're like, honestly, like, the whole point of me asking was like, I'm going to go in like for content.
Yeah.
But like, I also, just like I said, I don't know how to operate a camera.
Yeah.
Like properly, right?
Dude.
And I'm going to have to spend like $5,000 on like thermal don't die clothes because I'm not built for this.
Yeah. Would you go to Antarctica? Okay, under the correct conditions.
Absolutely I would.
Yeah.
If it was like 3 days maximum, and it was like safe, controlled, there were like fucking Sherpa experts that were there, like guiding, like,
yeah.
I don't know. But then I'm just thinking about like the practicality of like, I don't know. I'm going to have to watch a lot of YouTube videos on how to like Panasonic Lumix, make film video. I'm going to have to buy memory cards. I don't know like the workflow of battery, memory cards, all of these little things that like I've never learned. Plus, imagine it's negative 20 degrees and I'm wearing gloves and I have to film.
True. But here's the thing. If that YouTube video you just showed me is the standard, you're okay. You know what I mean? If the Babbel YouTube video,
I'm not worried about for them.
Yeah,
I'm worried about
true.
So that's the thing, is that I would only do it for my documentary.
Yeah.
So if it's like if it's going to be in like 6 months from now, like fuck that, I'll be over it by then.
Yeah.
So it's probably too late. I plan on finishing.
That's true. The planning of that, I mean, I feel like the planning of that would take forever.
Yeah, I would only do it if it was like, I almost said Jake Paul, but what I meant was Mr. Beast's level of like, because Mr. Beast went to Antarctica, right?
Yeah.
Which of course is fake, never happened.
Yeah, I mean, how could he?
All the flat earthers just unironically are like, he never went, it got canceled. It's like, here's the video, like he went. Like, what do you mean? They all just say it got canceled. It's like he went. Like they can say it's fake, but you can't say it got canceled when I'm watching the video that he went, posted on the day that he.
Oh my god, dude.
So yeah, I don't know.
Classic. We love that.
What's been going on? And I've seen a little bit of the gaming shenanigans that's been going on in the world.
Man, I don't even know anymore, dude. It's crazy. I'm so like emotionally exhausted. It's been crazy. But I guess we'll just go through each of it piece by piece, and I'm sure I'll end up yelling at some point during this podcast. But the big news this week is the launch of Arena Breakout on PC. Do you know what it is? Have you played it? Have you played what do you understand about it at this point in time?
I had like a potential deal, like a sponsor kind of like to play, and am so uninterested in FPS games. I'm like, you can't even pay me to play an FPS game.
Honestly, that's fair. That's fair.
But I did look into it a little bit. All I have seen was I rated fucking Geeks.
Yeah.
Either last night or the night before, and he was playing, so I watched him play for a little bit. And all I can say is what it looked like was...
I'm interested.
It looked like Tarkov with weirder audio.
Mm-hmm.
And on just on a quick glance, weirder audio, better like recoil. A ton of better like UI features and stuff, like going up to a door and having it be like, this is the key, like little things like that. That's like, I don't want to have to simulate jangling through 50 keys to figure out, does this one open it? That's effectively what it is when they just don't tell you. And like better AI.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I was interested to see, if you had seen any of it, what your like first reactions are. I know that you haven't like watched a ton of footage or anything, but that is funny that you rated Geeks and saw it a little bit. So I really don't even know where to start with it all. What Arena Breakout is it's a mobile game, like that's been out for 2 years. Like it's a year or two. It's a mobile game on phone. Huge audience. I think like 100 million people play it. It's made by a company that I think is owned primarily by Tencent. So it's like they're in no way a controversial organization. No way a controversial organization. I think there's a huge market for it in Asia. Like I think 100 million players. I think most of it, kind of like PUBG Mobile, is largely an Asian thing. I think mobile gaming in general is just a bigger deal in Asia, especially like big games like this. Anyways, so what they were doing though is they're launching Arena Breakout Infinite, which is the PC version of the game, which is not actually, and I actually thought it was for a long time, it's not a port to PC. They went into Unreal Engine 4 and just rebuilt the game. It is the same
Tarkov?
Game. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
It went into Unity and just literally a control C.
Dude. So they rebuilt Arena Breakout in Unreal Engine 4. So that's a big misconception, is that it's a port. They just rebuilt it in Unreal 4 though. So it's an extraction shooter. So the first thing we should talk about, like the first like section of things, is it's a Tarkov clone. Like, and there are a bunch of conversations to have in this conversation that I like genuinely am interested in your thoughts on. It's a Tarkov clone. Like we've heard that, right? You and me I think we played Marauders with the dev back then. You know what I mean? And people were saying that was a Tarkov clone. Played the Cycle Frontier, people said that was a Tarkov clone. Played DMZ, people said that was a Tarkov clone. Played Gray Zone, people said that was a Tarkov clone. If you said that about any one of those games, you're dumb. This is a Tarkov clone. At its So and here's the thing is we'll talk through it. I think it's a Tarkov clone to its own detriment, and on one hand you're like, duh, copying someone else's homework is always to your detriment. But in the sense that like
my high school,
dude, yo,
that's different. Don't cheat, kids.
But I think the TLDR that we'll circle back to is that this game does bring stuff to the table that would position it really well in gaming in the extraction shooter genre. But the uphill battle it's fighting is that it's wearing on its sleeve that it's a Tarkov clone. And so I'll go through some of the things that make it what I think is a Tarkov clone, and then what I want to talk about at what point is a thing a clone, right? Because that's an interesting conversation.
At what point is there a clone versus a genre?
Exactly. So I want to talk about all that stuff. So first thing, here are some things that bear striking resemblances to Tarkov in no particular order. This is just things I wrote down. The extractions, you would assume an extraction shooter would have extractions, but the little thing that pops up is green. It has almost the same logo. There are extractions that have different requirements throughout the maps. Those requirements are not being able to extract with a backpack, having to put exactly 2,000 rubles to extract at a certain place. That then ups your extraction from 10 seconds to a minute if you pay that. A place where you can exchange extraction for dog tags, which is a suggestion the Tarkov community has given for a long time. So, of course, you got to extract, but very similar. Scavving, it's called Covert Ops, where you get to play as one of the AI. Every 15 minutes, you're given a free kit. And they called it Covert Ops, but this game is not set in Asia or in Russia, I don't think, because all of the AI speak English.
I heard it sounded like fucking Yosemite Sam, dude.
Yes,
I heard.
it sounds like it's set in Alabama. Like, I don't know why. Or Mississippi. But here's the thing. They called
Fallout 76.
They called it Covert Ops. But when you're running around on your Covert Ops run, the AI yell at you, go scav somewhere else. Why are you scavving? So it's like they didn't call it scav, and then they called it scav. Okay? 15 minutes, very similar. The loot.
Did scavving originate with Tarkov? It had to.
I think the way we use it, I think did. Obviously the word scavenging and scavenger, but as a gameplay mechanic that then became almost a verb, like a thing to do. I think it kind of did.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like that particular aspect. You have to wonder if is that like Kleenex? Like has the thing become the thing?
Once again, no one of these things would be in the game and you would go, oh my God, this is a Tarkov clone. It's the sum of them, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So extractions, and the extractions is another great example. Of course, you have to extract in an extraction shooter, but like all the other extraction games made their extractions extremely unique. DMZ did, Marauders did this. This is literally like sit in a zone for 10 seconds or pay 2,000 rubles to wait for a minute or like go without a backpack. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, so on one hand, you would say, well, of course you have to extract. On the other hand, I would say, well, pick some original extracts. Loot is, dude, create a spreadsheet of everything you could find in a filing cabinet or a duffel bag in Tarkov. Every one of those things is in this game. Lions, GPUs, CPU fans, spark plugs, wires, power cords, gold chains. Dude, everything. And once again, no one of those things would be weird, but it's everything. And no other game has all these pieces of loot. So it's every single thing. Now, there are additional things that aren't in Tarkov, like antennas and radios and all sorts of stuff.
Shmushanka.
But every like item, not the food items because they're different. Every item is, golden lions, cats, horses.
Are they the same?
Not different enough. They're very similar looking models too. Some of them are different, like some of the more miscellaneous stuff like wires and capacitors and power cords. Those are all different. But then there's the stuff that you like think of Tarkov, like the cat statue, the bronze lion, the gold chain, some of that stuff. All that's in there. The gunsmith system. Once again, you would expect a gunsmith system, a way to you have to put all the attachments on your gun, right? But it's literally exactly the thing, the floating gun, all the lines. Like, and here's where it's like some of the stuff, it's like you almost missed an opportunity to iterate and make it better. Like sometimes there's just so many lines and it's impossible to figure out like where you're putting your flashlight. It's literally all the UI is exactly the same, where it's a thing and then there's a drop down and it's a thing. Every other game has done it different. Gray Zone did it different. DMZ did it different. Marauders did it different. Everyone did it different. These guys did exactly the same. The health system breakdown at a 10,000 foot view. The different limbs in this game are, abdomen, thorax, head. The head has 35 HP, arms, legs. They get blacked out, fractures, bleeds. So once again, you would assume a health system, right? But I would look to Gray Zone as a really interesting take on it, where you don't get like blacked out limbs. You get organ damage that you need a CMS kit for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get
I feel like they iterated.
Yeah, you get nauseous and the painkillers help. You're losing blood and you need a blood bag. So I would say Gray Zone iterated. This is the same system, broken up in the same way. Painkillers, you can't run unless you're on painkillers, that kind of stuff.
Golden lion, cheetah. Yeah, I'm seeing him now.
Yeah. Some of the map design is pretty similar. Like
what I saw at Geeks, what I saw, it looked like almost kind of like, I want to say like woods, like houses though, like cabin area.
The map Valley. So here what map does this remind you of? The map Valley in Arena Breakout is a horseshoe map around a lake. Around a lake where the biggest POI is in the middle at the south by the water.
Is that a lumber mill?
No, it's not. It's a
it's completely different.
It's a villa, yeah. There are some pretty damning videos of like a side-by-side of Tarkov and the house assets and the way the houses are laid out. Like same thing. You go in, a room on the left, staircase, then another room on the left, like literally like synced up. Some of the houses look exactly the same. The armor system is rated the same way. Like it's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can repair them depending on what trader you repair them with. It's more expensive and that. Even some of the types of lootable containers, like it's not Tarkov wasn't the first game to add filing cabinets, but like the duffel bags look eerily similar to Tarkov 2, like they're red and then the last thing is, what's crazy? It's 1-to-1 old Tarkov recoil, by the way, that we all hated. I've never here and this
like bad.
Yeah, and this
by
is
old. You mean not that old?
Correct, not that old. Yeah, middle Tarkov recoils.
What they recently fixed.
Yes. So here's the thing. Here's another thing for me to ask you. Oh, those are weapon animations, which I don't know. We can talk about that later. I feel like most animations are going to be similar. I'll send you the tweet of the video where it was like the houses. That's more damning in my opinion. Anyways, recoil. How many games have you played in your life, first-person shooters, where the way the recoil worked was there was a lot of recoil in the first 8 shots, and then there was automatic control where it would then return to center on its own and become a laser beam? Exactly one, right? That is how the recoil works. I grabbed a P90 and I had PTSD from the reason I used to hate running the MP7 on old Tarkov recoil, because if you try and tap a scav or burst fire a scav, all the recoil of the MP7 would send you way up here. But if you just like mag dumped the scav, you were just laser beaming him. And I picked up a P90 and it was like PTSD. It is the exact same. I went into the shooting range. It literally goes up 4 or 5 shots, comes back down on its own halfway, and then just beams right there. And the M4s feel like that, and the AKs feel like that.
I just looked down, like away from the titles up top that has Arena Breakout, Escape from Tarkov. I'm looking at like the meta animations, and like I actually couldn't tell which was which.
Yeah. So I do want to talk about why. I want to talk about eventually some of the things Arena Breakout brings to the table. I want to talk about some of the things they do differently. I want to talk about some of the like new things and like where it could sit in the genre. But first, I do want to talk about like that copying a game, and like where you fall on that line of, because it's not an objective line, you know what I mean? But it's an interesting thing where how many similarities like that before it's scummy? 1, 2, 3. How many before it gets kind of rightfully called a Tarkov clone? You know what I mean? Some conversations I've been having are, how many of these things should we expect from an extraction shooter, right? Because you think about the battle royale genre. H1Z1 into PUBG, into Fortnite, largely, a battle royale is a battle royale. It's, you fly in, there's all of us, you loot, and it's last man standing. And I think for me, what I was thinking was like when Fortnite came out, it wasn't the PUBG map.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like, I haven't played PUBG enough to know some of the things that make it unique, but it wasn't, the same voice comms or the same emotes on the same map, but just in a cartoon. There's something to be said for that difference where some of these things, it's like, it's an extraction shooter, bro. Of course there are going to be guns. Like when people say, and I promise I'm going to let you talk. I'm sorry. I'm just rambling. Here's what's funny, bro. Is like, I'll pop into a stream and somebody will be like, oh my God, they've got a FAL. It's like, dude, if it's a modern game, it's going to have a FAL and an M4
You're not allowed to have Glocks,
and a Glock, right? And if it's an extraction shooter, it's going to have extractions and it's going to have armor and it's going to have traders. But I feel like they're past that grace of like, oh, well, it's an extraction shooter and into like unnecessary striking similarities that actually pull the game down. And I'm interested to hear kind of what you think about that kind of stuff.
So all I can say is based on these few little clips I've seen and a few of the things I've heard. And also it's hard for me to like, to be like objective. I want to try to be objective,
of course,
and take my own emotions on both sides of the spectrum. On one end,
yeah,
I'm like apathetic.
Yeah,
like, oh, my ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend's a shithead. Sucks.
yeah.
When like really I should be upset that
there's some injustice. For sure.
Like, but on my limited with my limited experience, I want to say like it kind of looks like a blatant, kind of almost shameless, sort of clone. And the question is, what are the ethics around it? I mean, you can't like you can't fucking deny.
Correct.
Again, I literally played 10,000 hours of Tarkov, and if I like don't look at specific parts of the screen, I wasn't sure which was which.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
And even there was a video that was Arena Breakout from 9 months ago. I'm assuming the mobile version, and even that looks exactly like
good.
Tarkov.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I definitely like, even people in chat are saying like, who cares? Like, I don't like, I want to come at this from like, it's an interesting conversation, less of like lines need to be drawn in the sand. Like, who, like, you're right. Who cares? You know what I mean? We're just, but I find it interesting because what's been so funny about the genre is that, I've been on one side and this is why. This is me trying to be honest, despite what some people say, is I've been on one side of the aisle and I don't mind switching to the other side of the aisle when the appropriate time is. I've been on the one side of the aisle hard for 4 different games, DMZ, Marauder, Cycle Frontier, and Gray Zone Warfare, where it's like, if you call this a Tarkov clone, you just like, you're being so intellectually dishonest, you're trying to get a reaction, like you're stupid. Like, just because a game has guns doesn't make it a Tarkov clone. Just because a game, like, we wanted Tarkov to usher in this genre, right? We wanted extraction shooters to be the new battle royales, where people made it, iterated it on it, and then we as consumers got the best version of it, right? So I was always on that side, and I don't mind switching sides when I look at this game. And we'll get to later. Later, I want to get to the fact that that doesn't necessarily mean I'm not going to play it. But I can and have since the very beginning, since even before it came out, I was calling it out where it's like, it looks like a Tarkov clone, because the stuff it decides to wear on its sleeve so aggressively, like the extracts, like the loot and stuff like that, are so unnecessary, and they aren't the core things that make Tarkov great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the fact that there's a bronze lion isn't what makes Tarkov great. The fact that there are 4 different types of extractions, and we've always said that a lot of the other games don't get it. They don't get what makes Tarkov great, and they try to make these extraction shooters. And what's weird about this game is it seems to get what makes Tarkov great and go farther and add a bunch of stuff just like Tarkov that's so irrelevant.
It doesn't understand Tarkov enough to know what to copy.
Yeah. So it copied 10 more things than it needed to, which in my opinion pushes it past like they're iterating on the genre. Because I actually think they are, but painting themselves to look exactly like Tarkov. You know what I mean? I think it's the stuff that it's just weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things. First, I just thought of this when you said it. There's a world in which now there's too many of them for this like kind of hand wavy excuse to like be reasonable. But this is just one of those things that is like, this is the kind of thought process we should have when looking at stuff like this. So you just mentioned the Bronze Lion. There's a world where that is like a common trinket. Like it's actually a thing, like live, laugh, love sign.
Yeah.
Like it, like every fucking white girl, wears Uggs, drinks Starbucks, and has a live, laugh, love sign in her fucking living room, right?
Yeah.
If a game had that and someone from overseas wasn't familiar with that, they would think that was like that game's thing. Where then if someone else did it, so now
for sure.
Again, I don't know if like the Bronze Lion is this iconic thing or if it's like a Tarkov thing.
Yeah.
The cats, I don't know any of that stuff. That's just something that came to mind where it's like,
and that's a fair.
Some of these things might be tropes that Tarkov didn't create,
and that's a fair thing. I think it's a fair criticism of any one of these things. But once again, and this is part of the conversation. Like this is a thing I've been mulling away at these past 3 days. Is how many things before it becomes weird? That is an undefinable thing. You know what I mean? If it was 2 things, somebody would be in here. And we know that because Gray Zone being called a Tarkov clone, Marauders and the Cycle Frontier being called a Tarkov clone mean that the bar, like for some people, is the floor. You know what I mean? For some people, if you make a game with guns, they're going to call it a Tarkov clone. And that means that gradient, not everyone is going to be on the same page. Some people still think that it's not a big deal at all that they, use a lot of the Tarkov stuff. But it's so fascinating when you stack them up. I can only speak for myself as I just found myself on the side of like, it's a lot of things and it's a lot of unnecessary things. It's weird. It wouldn't have taken developers long to make extracting from this game feel unique and bespoke. You know what I mean? It would there could have literally been like BTRs or armored Humvees with other guys on it at locations, and you hop on and you drive away, and there's a 2-second cutscene. Like that is so different than pay 2,000 rubles and wait 60 seconds.
Is it also rubles or is
it's
it dollars?
Not like coins or something. But you know what I mean? So it's stuff like that where they're so unnecessary. There's so many things that are so unnecessarily copied that also wouldn't have been hard to change. That I find it fascinating. And this is truly, in my opinion, the first real. I don't want to use the word competitor. I don't really like that. This is the most similar extraction shooter to Tarkov, even if you take away all the things they copied.
This is the only thing that is reasonable, that's been noteworthy, that's reasonable to call a Tarkov clone ever.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
or at least to consider.
Yeah, for sure. I'm saying even separate from that. Man, I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. I'm saying I think most people, a lot of people would have wanted this type of game, whereas you have the Cycle Frontier was almost too far away. So I guess I'll do it back. Tarkov creates this game and it's a huge success. And I think a lot of people thought it'd be cool if more people made games in this genre, right? I feel like that's a fair assessment. And then the first few that came out in the genre were really like way off the beaten path. Like nothing came out that was similar. Like PUBG and H1Z1 feel pretty like the H1Z1 mod, the King of the Hill mod, and PUBG feel really close to each other. But we had Tarkov, and then the first thing that came along that got a lot of attention was the Cycle Frontier. Aliens, cartoony, purple loot, open world, way off. And then the next thing we got was Marauders. Literal spaceships, space combat, way off the
alternate universe, World War II, steampunk.
So once again, strip all this stuff where they've copied it. I think this was just like something that came that was more similar. And I think there was actually and is a market for that. So that's why I feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot by over copying, because that's all that's going to be. Whereas I think in an alternate universe, people really wanted something that was similar, that wasn't way off the beaten path, that was similar to Tarkov, but different. And it could have really thrived. But I'm sad that they felt like they had to overcopy. Now, you could make an argument, right? Like, and some people might chat like, well, if they didn't copy Tarkov, you wouldn't be playing it. If they didn't copy Tarkov, you wouldn't. I disagree. I think that that's at least a fair argument, because it's an unprovable one, that because it's garnering this attention and because it's being called a Tarkov clone and because of all these similarities, it's getting attention and people are playing it. I think without those things, like, it's funny. Somebody in chat earlier said, none of these streamers would be playing Arena Breakout if Tarkov hadn't done what they just did. And in my opinion, that's cope. I think
they would have, they probably just would have been getting less viewers.
I think absolutely the Tarkov drama has emotionally charged the community and sent some people way off base. But you chatter might not have been there, but I played the Cycle, and I played Marauders, and I played DMZ, and I played Dark and Darker. And every time I played those games, people in chat were begging for an answer as to why all of the Tarkov streamers, every one of us played Cycle Frontier for 3 days. Every one of us played Marauders for 3 days. So like all these streamers wouldn't be playing. It's like every extraction shooter-esque game gets all the Tarkov streamers for 3 days. So
yeah, and there's
I
a good
think
chance
it's
a lot of them were
say,
paid to play it.
Yeah,
and not necessarily that doesn't mean that they're lying. That doesn't mean like anything nefarious about being paid to play, right? Like, as long as you disclose all this shit, right? Like sponsored, whatever, then there's literally no problem with it, and people shouldn't complain. But that's also another element too. I was one of those people that they asked, and I'm like barely relevant in fucking FPS right now. So
now, once again,
they asked all these other people.
That doesn't mean that I don't think the Tarkov drama has anything to do with it. I think Tarkov streamers will stay and play longer. I think a lot of the community is looking for an alternative. So I'm not saying it's not affecting it at all, but I think specifically I've received comments about none of these streamers would be playing this game and that is where I'm like, no, we all would be playing it for 3 days, just like, you know what I mean?
I've officially give zero fucks about anity who wants to speculate about why streamers do what they do and judge that. I mean, it's just so low bro, you just don't know what you're talking about.
You really don't.
You're just blindly speculating. You might be right, and if you are, it's probably by accident. Like just either watch them or don't. It's just
100%. It's so
childish and
it's so funny when like
boring. It's boring, dude.
It's so funny when people are like, you're only playing this because you're getting paid to. And it's like, what they don't know is that they reached out to me to sponsor me. I said, yes, I want to do it. And they ghosted me. And I'm still playing it. Like, they straight ghosted me. Never responded to me. Never responded to my agency. So it's like, but they're like, dude, you're only playing this because you're getting paid to. So, and I don't have to explain that to every chatter. I just think it's funny. So that is an interesting, and once again, I know where I land on it right now, but I'm not about drawing super hard lines in the sand. It is an interesting conversation and one that requires nuance to say, well, if there was going to be an extraction shooter, a proper one, set on planet Earth, which we actually haven't had, because DMZ was weird and Marauders and the Cycle were out of there, and Gray Zone is an open world game. It's not an extraction shooter. If we were really going to have an instance-based extraction shooter that's not Tarkov set on planet Earth, there were always going to be a lot of things strikingly similar to Tarkov. But I think they went way farther than they needed to. They copied really weird, unnecessary things, and they put themselves into a weird spot for no reason, seemingly to, I don't know why.
Bro, here's the thing.
But it's a Tarkov clone.
where everybody's wasting their time having conversations that nobody really cares about. Listen,
True.
I'm gonna be honest, okay, with the world. If I found out that like Apple was manufacturing their chips in some sweatshop in Malaysia, I'd still buy the iPhone 24. Like, nobody fucking cares about the ethical dilemma they just care if the game is good or not. I refuse to
Twitch
believe
chat would disagree with you.
I refuse to believe that more than 2% of the community that's like, can we talk about if this is a clone? It's a clone. No, it's not a clone. That's a copy. We have to take a step back and ask, why are we talking about this?
Yep.
And I have to say, there's a world, I'm being honest, there's a world in which if I still loved Tarkov, that I would feel offended or something. Like maybe, I don't know. I'm just being real. Like I could be like, no, you know what? Fuck this game. Like they did this thing. I gotta stand by my homies at BSG and but now fuck them. So I don't care. Nike fucked over Adidas. I'm still gonna buy whatever shoe looks better.
Yeah. No, and that's kind of where I was getting to, which is the fact that in certain circumstances, it's fun to have these conversations. And like, basically, sometimes I want to exist just to blow people's minds. Like, if you ask me if this game is a Tarkov clone, I'll say yes. If you ask me, am I going to play it tomorrow? I'm also going to say yes, because everything doesn't result in a boycott in perpetuity, right? Like, I can be like, yeah, it's a little scummy, but you remember the
people that are asking you that, they're not interested in the ethical dilemma. They just
want
to give you shit for something they don't care about. Oh, your carbon footprint, blah blah. Okay, Greta, you don't care. Shut up.
Because it's funny, because wasn't you remember back when like BSG was like, there were also all the controversy about the fact that they were not like licensing any of the stuff that they were putting into the game, like the guns.
Well, I have a list of bullet points of things I want to talk about. One of them was the original controversy about they basically used a bunch of brands, didn't license fucking jack shit, and all of this garbage.
It's different than stealing assets from a video game, but conceptually it's the same. Of somebody else made a thing, you used that thing in an industry where seeking permission to use that thing is very normal. You didn't do it. You put all this stuff in your game, and now people are like, I can't believe that Arena Breakout would put a bronze lion in. Like, yes, I can concede that I believe they only put the bronze lion in and all these other things on this list because it's in Tarkov. I think they're copying Tarkov's homework, but what you're saying is exactly what I'm saying. But Tarkov did a whole bunch of stuff, and you're saying that so you can go play Battlefield, and EA does a whole bunch of stuff, and all these people on Twitter saying, I can't believe you would promote a game that was owned by a mobile game owned by Tencent. I'm going to go play Valorant. Who owns that? Riot. Who owns that? Tencent. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean?
Listen, we all don't give a fuck. We're all hypocrites, and like everybody needs to take off their fucking pull-ups and stop acting like this, like they care about the things that they're pretending that they care about. I remember in college, basically I had a couple classes with my wife, and I would buy the textbook. She'd let me cheat off her tests. And I remember being mad that like one of her friends was like, I didn't study, and was like looking at my shit. I'm like, no, man, fuck you. Even though it's like we're all
so
hypocrites.
Funny. Because that's so true. Yeah, I forgot. Doesn't Tencent own like a pretty big stake in Epic Games? So it's like all games made on Unreal Engine are supporting Tencent. but it's this moral crossing to play Arena Breakout because Tencent's involved.
Well, just like
playing Gray Zone is supporting Tencent. It's built on Unreal.
Yeah, but
I know.
The thing is with these companies is Tencent basically transfers a bunch of money over, and they have like one guy sit in meetings once a month with whatever, and it's not like they're like okay, now that we're owned by Tencent, like let's put the Chinese spy bots in to alter your
Of course.
That's what people think.
Yeah, agree with you. But that's what I'm saying is like we mentioned this on the podcast or on the Patreon, by the way, Podcast Pod, patreon.com/Podcast Pod. We mentioned this where it's like, here's the line for me. I will defend to the death your right and ability to come to whatever conclusion you want. And I'll even let you talk about it in my chat. Like, people come in and they're like, this game is a blatant Tarkov ripoff and I don't want to support it. And I'm like, fair play. People come in and they'll be like, Gray Zone looks boring as hell. And I'll be like, dude, fair play. You don't have to do it. Like, you can come state that opinion. It's the crossing of the line to, you have to boycott Tarkov because of this. You're a piece of shit because you're playing Arena Breakout. You're a shill for Gray Zone. That's when I won't actually, but that's when I believe when you've crossed that, I feel like I have the right to take your argument to the logical conclusion. Because if you can say that you're taking this moral stand against this company and that everybody should agree, then I'll ask you, like, who makes your clothes? Who makes your phone? Who makes the other games you play? Because you're not, you know what I mean? So personally, everything we do in the world is taken on a case-by-case basis, right? And I actually think that that's right and fair. There are too many unjust things in the world to hold at one time. So we all take it as a case-by-case thing. But to come into my chat and call me or the other people in my chat or whatever, that's when it's like, okay, dude, well, are you taking your own medicine or are you just mad? You know what I mean? So
neither. Their fedoras are one size too small because they haven't left mom's basement to get a fucking job to be able to afford a medium fedora.
Yeah.
And like Reddit's down for maintenance or whatever.
Yeah.
and they're bored.
Yeah.
Right. So like I don't know. I just
I'm with you.
I care as much about what random people think about the outrage as like the outrage, the topic itself.
For sure.
Like, it looks to me like a lazy copy. It looks like there's no way that you can have so much similarity and actually like have a real desire to like change a genre to make like like it just seems like there's a market and they're trying to make the easiest, cheapest thing that people asked for, because let's be honest, for the better part of a decade, all we heard was,
I wish some company would just come along and make a better Tarkov.
And whether or not this is a better Tarkov, I don't know. I don't care. But everyone's been asking for this for fucking years. So some company comes along and goes, yoink.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. 100%. Now, there's like 4 things you brought up in that one sentence we need to talk about because there's some interesting things. But before we do, I do want to take a quick second and thank the sponsor, the first sponsor for this episode of the first sponsor of this episode, and that is BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online platform where you can get counseling and therapy. It's super simple. It's super easy to use. And if you are a fan of this show, then you know how important mental health is to me and Veritas. We both have personal histories and stories of spending a lot of time in therapy, and it's drastically changed our lives. Having somebody to talk to, having somebody that is explicitly on your side can make a world of difference. It can be huge.
I mean, I genuinely feel it. I physically feel it.
Yeah.
That the way I feel today about this bullshit,
this is great.
Is a direct result of therapy. Literally, like the fact that I can just take a deep breath and be like, oh, wow, certain things matter, certain things don't matter.
Yeah.
You know, try to see things with a clear head and not let the nonsense that affects our lives in a way more significant than necessary way, not let it do that. And that wouldn't have been possible without literal years of therapy.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So it's incredibly beneficial. And as we've stated before, it can be for everything. Of course, if you are in a really dark place, if really important and big things are happening to you, I can't recommend highly enough to have someone to speak to. But it is just like health in that it's even more effective preventatively. You know what I mean? I was in therapy for years after the reason I went to therapy was like solved. Years, because I started to see the value of that, of just like having somebody to vent to or talk to. And it drastically changed the course of my life. BetterHelp is all online, which makes it super easy to schedule appointments, change appointments, find somebody that you vibe with. If you have a session and you really just don't like the person, you can schedule with another person. It's super simple, super easy. And you can visit betterhelp.com/podcast today to get 10% off your first month. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/podcast. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Okay. So, some of this stuff all goes into each other, but as a way to come off of that conversation about, is it a Tarkov clone? What makes it a clone? What, how much of it is just an extraction shooter? How much of it are they stealing? And ultimately, who cares, right? I would be remiss to not at least mention and talk about the allegations of, past all of that, actual nefarious behavior by them. And I don't really...
By who? Are we talking
Arena
about?
Breakout.
Gotcha, okay.
I don't really know the extent of it, or... and the reason I don't really know is that I don't know. Okay.
It's because you don't care.
To an extent, I don't care, but I care if it's real. We'll get there. I'm getting ahead of myself. Basically, it started with breaking news.
Juice time.
Pudding time. It started with like breaking news, Arena Breakout, stole code, BSG was right.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. And as far as I can tell, all of that was some screenshots of some files. If you like crack, I don't know how this works. If you crack into the game and look at the code and do the thing, there were a bunch of files that started with like the word killa. Some of them looked like kill capital A, capital I underscore like 10. Some of it looked like literally it was kill AI, underscore this place, kill AI. But then a bunch of it also looked like Killa, like Killa, and then some other capital letter. And so I may have misunderstood it, but it kind of looked like it was presented as they're stealing code. And then it was just like a bunch of lines of code that named Killa. In my head, I went, what if they were just like memeing that this guy's internal name was Killa and they forgot to change it, or they didn't because none of it was public facing. Then Nikita himself tweeted some other things. We're going to talk about this later, but Nikita is like drunk and just on Twitter losing his mind. But
yeah, so okay.
Well, then he tweeted some more things, some more screenshots of a bunch of code that I don't know how to read. Like this is apparently damning evidence, but I don't know what I'm looking at here.
Is it the one that has like in the upper left-hand corner a bunch of hex, like blocks of hex? Yeah.
So there's that. And then he also responded to some tweets from Big Fry, where he said, we're investigating some things. It's not only code, it's also gun models, sounds, level design, even some props. We are pretty positive on some cases already. For example, some of the gun sounds are 100% stolen, parentheses, AK-47 sounds. Some weapon mods that we saw stolen too, AK models, even exact layouts, some of the buildings. We are making a list. So and this is where just prime your little internet brains. I know this is where, nuance comes in. If we're talking they're copying Tarkov because they put a bronze lion and some extracts in, once again, make your own judgment. If you don't want to play, whatever. I think it's lame, but I'm playing the game. This is like per some of the accusations that are being made here, if they really are literally stealing sounds, stealing stuff, that is omega scuffed. Because that's like illegal, right? I just don't understand any of the information that's being posted to Twitter in these screenshots of code to make, like, basically what I'm saying is that what this is saying is elevated to a different level than just we put a bronze lion in, but it's elevated to a level that I don't know how to verify the legitimacy of, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what to do with it as it currently stands.
So, I mean, I have some opinions on that.
Yeah, hit me with it.
But also, I have to ask, and I don't know if we want to talk about this before or after, but would that change anything for you? Because to me, same shit.
I would love to hear your thoughts because it does kind of to me. If they went into Photoshop and created a thing for a bronze lion because it looks different, I'm like, dude, why are you putting that in the game? It's only in there because it's in Tarkov. You're lame. Because once again, I don't know how these things are acquired either. If Nikita's saying they're literally like downloading if they're extracting the files from Tarkov, downloading the MP3s for the AK sounds, and then putting them in that game and doing that with other things, I don't know. My gut tells me that changes things, that's way more scummy. But I don't know how this information was ascertained. I don't know how true it is. I don't know to the extent of it. The extent it goes also changes things. This does feel like a different level of like, yo, they're literally just pulling apart the game and taking stuff.
I completely agree. If true, it's a different level. I guess, again, the way that I want to think about it is it's a different level. Does that change the way does that change what we will do or not do? It might change what we think or feel, but like,
yeah,
with someone who would play the game if it ripped off all of the concepts and ideas, but they made everything from scratch, stop playing if they found out that
I think
blocks of the AI code were copy pasted.
I think not many people would. I think for me personally, it does elevate it to that level where I would start considering not playing it. Like personally. Once again, as I just previously stated, come to your own conclusions, do whatever you want with your life. But for me, that does change it.
Yeah, so I've seen a couple of the
But I'm not just going to look at a dude's tweet and then stop playing it, right? I want to see.
For sure, no, everybody's a code commando that thinks that they know.
Yeah.
It's totally different programming languages, different. Like, you can write fucking C++ in both.
Yeah.
But also some of the things are in code and some of the things are scripted. Some of the things you do with fucking drop down files that you're not actually writing code.
That's exactly. I don't know enough about this to know what I know or to know what I don't know. I know that things can often be reduced to the most clickable headline, which is BS, Arena Breakout stealing code. They're made in different engines. I don't know how drag and drop this stuff is, but I want to know and I want to learn and I want to figure out where this goes and how true it is, because for me, that would begin to change how I thought about it and maybe even result in me deciding that I don't want to play the game.
Yeah. So right now, based on what I've seen, also recognizing I don't have all the information. It could be fucking deep fake shit. It could be straight up lies. I don't think it's necessarily likely. But I would be leaning towards, they like, I'm like 80%. Yeah, they are using some of the content, whether it's code, whether it's assets. I'm fairly confident that they are, from what I've seen.
Wow.
And so and a bunch of people have been putting in chat, like one of the quotes I saw was Nikita going on Twitter and claiming stolen assets without proof. And that right there is the ultimate pot calling the kettle black. You're assuming Nikita has no proof without proof. Like, you just made an accusation without proof. Nikita presumably has access to both code bases.
Yeah.
He can grab it and decompile it, and he owns Tarkov. So just asserting he doesn't have proof is also asinine.
I just, in this situation, don't even know what proof would look like or how to validate it. And it's one of those things where it's hard. I would like a third opinion, you know what I mean? Namely, like yours, because do we expect Arena Breakout to say anything other than we didn't do this? And do we expect anything from Tarkov other than, in and out 20-minute adventure plagiarized game? So that's where it's like when big companies fight, it's like, of course, both sides are saying exactly what you think they're going to say. So that's why I would love to be able to verify information, which that privilege isn't always granted, right? Like I don't know, but that
Jesus Christ, oh my God, you
just don't read it. Just don't read it.
Chat, you guys brain dead. Presumably has access to both. Where would he get the code for Arena Breakout? Where would Arena Breakout get the code from Tarkov? It's 4 minutes of Googling gives you the fucking answer. So, again, I have no reason right now to be 100% certain of the shit that people are posting on Twitter, but also looking at like what Logical Solutions posted.
Yeah.
I have no reason. It's possible. I don't have all the context, and I don't care enough to like put my foot down.
For sure.
But he posted a screenshot that is not from Tarkov. It's directly from both the mobile and desktop versions of Arena Breakout.
Gotcha.
And it lists Killa, Gluhar, and it has Kojani, which is a leftover variable name that was an internal code name for Tarkov for like a boss that there's Tarkov shit that came from Tarkov in the game, whether it's doing anything. For all I know, they copy pasted it, never used it, and it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. I don't care. But everybody just saying, it's so weird to me is that all these people want to hate Tarkov. And then at the same time, it's like an overwhelming wave of all these people being like, there's no proof. All of these accusations and there's no proof. It's like, I just clicked on two things and saw two fairly damning screenshots. Sure, they might be fake.
Yeah.
But to act as if there's nothing, you're coping hard.
Yeah. I just don't. Yeah, but and that's where I wasn't saying there was nothing or something. I was saying I don't know how to look at what I'm like. I don't know how do I know that this was just like a screenshot of Tarkov's code?
I have to assume that Logical Solutions isn't lying and did his homework. I caveated 18 different ways.
For sure.
There's a world in which someone sent it to him and he didn't check it.
Yeah.
There's a world. But you know what? If that's the case, there's so many eyes on this that in the next 72 hours, we'll find out.
For sure. Like, once again, ignore Twitch chat. I wasn't, asking you to put your foot, like I wasn't asking you to say, Veritas, you know code. Yeah, like code. Tell me if they stole this shit. Of course we don't know, and I agree. But I wanted to bring it up because it is, in my opinion, important, and because as this unfolds, this genuinely is something that could change my desire to play Arena Breakout if stuff was actually stolen.
I have to tell you guys, and I'm not a game developer. I've never done this with a game before.
Yeah.
But like, and how many of multiple of my getting Tarkov videos, I have shown snippets of Tarkov's code. I've used snippets of Tarkov's code to reverse engineer what bugs were, sent them to Nikita. When I did the netcode analysis, I did that based on a chunk of code from Tarkov. That's the thing that is what printed out into the console. Player RTT.
Oh yeah.
That was, it's recently, this is tangentially related. I was looking into, there's this flat earther who sells an app. He's a grifter, and he sells an app for like a monthly fee.
Okay.
And I thought it would be the most beautiful irony, because it like shows over a flat earth map like the position of the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
And none of that could work. It's all bullshit. And I'm like, and it shows like some weather stuff, and I'm like, he's probably pulling this from like some weather.com API that like uses a globe like model, and that would be like beautiful irony. So like,
yeah.
And within 15 minutes, I was able to pull up and see the endpoints it was hitting. It's not like this is like not even, if like 0 is you do nothing, and like 1 or 100 is like you're a full blown hacker. This is like a 6 in terms of like it would be trivial. It would be trivial for people to figure, for anyone who has access to both of the fucking games, to be able to figure out if they've used shit.
Interesting.
It's not hard.
And I don't know that, because I'm a 0 on that scale of knowledge. The other thing is, and once again, you might not know this, but like my question is also, what's the legality of this kind of stuff? Not that I at all think this is going to end in a court case.
Can you imagine a Russian company operating out of the UK suing a Chinese like?
No. That's what I'm saying.
Luck.
But like, if like assuming, I don't know, maybe there isn't just like an analog where you can assume it's 2 American companies. Yeah, I don't know. Is this like stealing your buddy's homework?
Win your lawsuit, the EOD lawsuit.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is like, I guess just plainly put, is that illegal? Whether it would end in anything or not.
It's impossible to say, because we're talking about multiple countries, and when it comes to IP laws, that's up to countries to figure out. Remember the I actually didn't really follow it until its conclusion, but remember Dark and Darker?
Yes, I didn't follow that either, that drama, but I do remember that. Yeah.
I don't know, dude. It's
I don't think BSG is going to sue Tencent. I don't think, but that I was just wondering if this is like a thing that happens all the time and it's just people hate it, but you can't really do anything about it, or if this is like actually a really taboo thing that they're kind of pulling the card because they know BSG won't sue them. Obviously, you don't know. I don't know, but it was just a thought.
Now, here's a question for you. Is there a world where this probably doesn't apply here.
Okay.
But you could make a fair use argument.
That's what I'm saying.
A huge part of my documentary is literally straight up recording other YouTube videos.
Yeah.
You could argue that I'm stealing a bunch of people's YouTube videos and you're just giving attribution and that's it. But it's transformative. If they were to go and copy paste Killa's behavior code in there and then change 90% of it.
Yeah.
Is that any different than what 98% of engineers do on a daily basis, which is copy paste from fucking Stack Overflow? I don't know. Probably, yeah. But, these are all just things that, again, people are outraged about things they don't care about and
don't
they
understand.
know nothing about.
Yeah.
So they just want to be angry about shit. Nobody really fucking cares about the intellectual property implications, the ethics. No one cares. Yeah. They just want to burn something down, and BSG is in ashes right now. So they got who's next?
Yeah. And that's fair. And once again, I'm not trying to like virtue signal by saying that I might stop playing Arena Breakout. What I'm trying to do is seek understanding, because that informs my decision, right? You know what I mean? And maybe there's a part of it that's just, I won't understand. I don't know how, to the extent of it. I don't know what happens in the industry. I don't know, blah, 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 blah. Like we've said, once again, Tarkov isn't stealing code from Glock, but they were, modeling and putting Glocks in with the word Glock all over that game before they asked Glock if that was okay, right? So it's not like Tarkov is a saint, you know what I mean? So I just more so was seeking kind of like understanding, just because I have no idea what the hell is happening or how big of a deal it is or isn't. And the outrage on Twitter is not the place for me to seek that understanding.
People, I mean,
you know what I mean?
just because you, and I don't mean you, I just mean like the royal you, just because you're gamers doesn't mean you know anything about everything related to gaming.
Yeah.
To me, the way I view this, and I'm like, as a software engineer, I'm slightly more informed.
Yeah.
And even I, which am treating this the same way as, oh my God, we just heard Israel launched missiles to whatever and they killed a bunch of civilians. It's like, I'm gonna wait until somebody who I respect comes out with an opinion and gives their justification, and then I'll determine whether or not it makes sense. I trust what they're saying. I'll verify it, and then I'll be like, yep, cool, or no. I don't have enough information. I'm not. Yeah. I'm just gonna wait until somebody.
Yeah, I can't know what is going on inside Arena Breakout's headquarters or in Tarkov's headquarters, and I can't know. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm just gonna wait until someone tells me what to think, because that's not,
of course.
But like, to some extent, it's not this mindless, blind faith in, X or Y. It's just like you do that with doctors and with scientists about
everything,
fucking medicine or climate change or vaccines or whatever. It's like someone's going to be butthurt about some shit. 49% of the time it's true. 51% of the time it's complete and utter fake news.
Yeah. Everybody
wants to firebomb each building on both sides before anybody knows anything.
Yeah.
It's like here's the thing. I feel like the pressure that is felt by content creators and rewind to once news organizations back in the fucking 2000s, early 2000s, once they started like showing tweets of people live, and it started to be like, we need to get out everything ASAP, because it's moved over to now content creators like, gotta be the first with the hottest take for all the clicks and all the views, and that like the panic and the chaos and the stress that comes from that, I feel like has now by osmosis shifted onto the masses. Where everybody's like, oh fuck, oh shit, everybody's telling me, what am I gonna believe? Oh God, it's like the fire isn't in your house.
It's a race. It's a race to a locked and loaded defense to the death position. We're racing to it. I gotta know right now. I'm never gonna change my mind about this, and I gotta know right now what is happening here. And it's dangerous.
You gotta, like, people need to be cool, okay?
Just be cool, dude.
And what's the, James Dean and Fonzie and all of these, being cool is kind of like indifference to the situation.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to, put on the sunglasses. Everybody just needs to, like, it's on fire. Okay, cool. Let's take a breath and figure out what the fuck we got to do, right? Let's not panic. There's nothing more cringy than, like, you want to be the guy, okay?
Yeah.
When all of a sudden you hear like the, fucking announcement over the loudspeaker and like the bomb sirens are going off and it's like, okay, there's a zombie apocalypse. You don't want to be the guy. It's like, oh my God, oh fuck, what do we do? And have your wife be like, I married the wrong one, right?
Yep.
You want to be the, all right, let's fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
calm and control, cool, calm, collected, 100%.
Someone asks you a question, they want your fucking hot take on something. Before you start chatting, before you pick up your phone and fucking tweet or go to some Twitch chat, take a second and think about it.
Yep.
You won't look like people feel like they're gonna be this spineless, I'm unsure of myself, and just chill.
Yep.
Remember what life was like before the internet. I'm sorry, most of you never lived that because you're fucking Generation Alpha.
What a boomer thing to say.
Is that what they're called? I think it's Gen Alpha. Is that what like my nieces and my niece and nephew are Gen Alpha? Jesus Christ, what a terrible. Gen Beta. Imagine when you're being Gen Beta.
Gen Beta.
Yeah, but I don't know, dude. It's just like people just need to fucking relax. Because they don't care about these things.
No.
They don't care. They shouldn't care.
No.
And there's no rush to come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Just be like, I don't know, man, and just wait.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like
100%.
It's legitimately so fucking freeing when you realize you don't have to pick a side.
Yeah. And I think that's just what's hard is that's where I'm at. But yeah, people want, and once again, this is not at all an indictment. Like the people that hang around my stream on the regular are like, oh, mega chill dudes. It's just when there's a big game launch like this and there's an influx of new people that don't really know the vibe, that's when it gets hard because I am trying to just be like, I don't know my opinion on this game yet. A great way to figure out my opinion on the game is to play the game. And I might play it for a while and be like, it's lame. It's way too close to Tarkov. It's copied a whole bunch of stuff and it doesn't bring anything new. I don't want to play it. It feels scummy. But it's like when I'm trying to come to that conclusion, when I'm asked 1,000 times, a minute, this or Tarkov, which one's better? What do you like this? I can't believe you're playing this. This is so ridiculous. It's so funny because somebody was trying to convince me today in chat, like I can avoid the drama by just going to play Tarkov. Dude. And it's like, you're living on another planet, man. Like
you could avoid the Tarkov by drop kicking your router out of your window, and that's it.
It's like, just go play Tarkov if you don't want to talk about this kind of drama. And it's like, dude, you're high. Like, I don't know. It's people. Here's a good way to live. If you're mad about something and you don't understand why the person you're talking to doesn't do what you want them to do, you just have to understand that you're a gremlin and there are 10 other gremlin clones of you that have the same opinion, but about the other thing. You know what I mean? It's like, just go play Tarkov. You won't have to talk about this stuff. And the second I go over there, 4 seconds after I switch to the Tarkov category, somebody's going to be like, I can't believe you support this company. And I'm not saying that as a like, woe is me. I understand that. But if you're in the chat mad about something, you don't understand that. You know what I mean? It's like, I have already come to the conclusion that I can't please everybody, so I'm just going to do what makes me happy. So if you just keep coming out, why don't you go play this game? It's like, you're the one that needs to understand that, like, bro, because I'm going to go over there and there's somebody to do that. And if I go, and then they're going to be mad because if I go play Tarkov for you, they're going to be like, you did that for him and this, and then they're going to feel entitled. It's like, I'm just doing me, man. Like, I'm doing what I want to do in this moment. Tomorrow, I might not want to play Arena Breakout. Tomorrow, I might. But it's like, you're a gremlin at that point. If you can't understand, you have become gremlin. I am become gremlin, destroyer of Twitch chats. That's you. Seek help.
I don't know. I think I'm out of touch. I think I'm out of touch because I cannot imagine what state of mind I would have to be in to be in someone's Twitch chat and to be like, can you play a different game? Like, that's Karen behavior.
Dude, I've tried.
That's the modern day young boy. It's just I don't understand it.
It's main character syndrome.
Yeah, like it literally is. If what I just described, if that seems like normal behavior to you, to me, that's the same as you showed up to your neighbor's birthday party uninvited. You walked in and you were like, can we have chocolate cake instead? I don't really like vanilla cake. It's like,
yep.
Really, bro?
Yep. It's just one of those, like,
so weird.
It's one of those things.
Why are so many people like that? I don't get it.
It's one of those things where
like
nobody's mad at you. Nobody thinks it's weird to show up to a birthday party when it's chocolate cake and you in your head go, I'm not a huge fan of chocolate cake. That's a perfectly reasonable response. But
you might be like, oh, I fucking
exactly. But there's no in between. But it's an incredibly unreasonable response to gather everyone into the room and be like, I really wish we had vanilla cake. God damn, bro. Like, that's mad weird. That's mad weird. It's okay if you prefer vanilla cake, but it's mad weird to just grab the attention of everyone in the room and make sure everybody knows. Like,
that's oh God. And the problem is that all we see are usernames.
Yeah.
And I don't know that kind of behavior is completely and utterly normal for like 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
No, like really, like that's the thing that kids do.
Yeah.
It's kind of cringy, where like you haven't figured out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't like chocolate cake. And everybody's just kind of like,
so funny though.
Kids are fucking weird, and then they move on, right? But assuming that these people are like 15 or older, I don't know if that's like kids these days.
It's
and
so
I'm just
funny though, because Wombat put it in chat, and that it is the answer. It's the anonymity. Because think about the analogy, right? If you've got, what's the average Twitch viewer? Of these, even if we say like 20, let's just say 20. A room of 50 people, a group of 50 20-year-olds in a room. It's chocolate cake. People prefer vanilla. It'd be weird for somebody to yell at the top of their lungs, I really wish there was vanilla. But in a room of 20-year-olds, if you could write a message and put it on a piece of paper and put it on a table, and then somebody would read your message over a loudspeaker, what you perceive of that room of 20 people changes immediately. It would immediately devolve. The anonymity changes everything.
Well, partially.
Everything.
And here's part of the difference. And I think we talked about this on the fucking Patreon. Is it's not quite like that, because you would still have to sit there with a straight face.
Yeah.
And feel the pressure of knowing I'm the one that wrote that message. And I'm going to be like,
yeah, if everyone's
everyone
like,
else is like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that pressure would keep
some amount of people from, yeah.
But to me, the idea of would I do it in real life? Do I feel internally? Do I feel good and okay and like not like a douche gremlin?
Yeah.
Out doing this, whether or not I'm anonymous or not.
Yeah. Because you can close the tab if things get uncomfortable. That changes a lot of it too. It's the anonymity and the ability to instantly distance yourself from the situation. You know what I mean? At a party, you have to like leave and drive home, but you can just close the tab anytime you want.
I don't know. I mean, maybe none of these kids grew up with Candid Camera or like Ashton Kutcher or Punk. This is what people need to do. All you Zoomers need to assume there's a hidden camera everywhere, and everything is a test specifically for, if you're going to do a main character syndrome, okay? If you're going to believe that, then assume everything is a test for you to figure out if
you're a good person.
This is all a fucking thing to see if you're going to do the embarrassing thing. We're all going to play a joke. There's a fucking hidden camera somewhere. This is all going to be this elaborate thing. And do you want to, the one time you're unlucky and you do the embarrassing antisocial thing, might be the time that Ashton Kutcher comes out of your like,
oh my God, of
coat
your
closet
hedges
with a camera. I don't know, dude.
Okay. I do want to rein it back in, but before we do that, I want to take a second to thank the second sponsor of the stream, and that is Babbel. Babbel.
To say Privyet.
To the second sponsor of the stream, and that is Babbel. Babbel is a language learning app that is all focused on being able to carry a conversation. Its lessons are basically crafted to be the perfect length. You don't want to just spend so much time absorbing a ton of information, but you don't want to just like learn 3 words and move along. Immersion is one of the best ways to learn a language, living where a language is spoken and using it every day. But that's not possible for a lot of people. And so Babbel has spent a lot of time trying to craft their app to be very conversational and very like almost immersive, like not just learning charts of words, but learning how to speak. Like if you were plopped
functional.
in there.
Yeah, dude. There's been a few times in my life I took like 5 years of Spanish, and I know an embarrassing small amount, but the times where I've gotten the balls to use Spanish where it made sense, whether I was down in Mexico on vacation, or even a little bit of, because I'm Portuguese, but only my grandparents speak Portuguese.
Okay.
A lot of Tarkov fans come in and chat, and they're from Brazil.
Yeah.
And they're always so fucking awesome. Brazil, Veritas, we love you. And I love all the Brazilian homies. Every time I've had a chance to interact with somebody with their language, it goes from being this insanely scary, intimidating thing to then suddenly I never regret it.
Yeah.
It's a different level of connection that you have with someone where they're like, oh shit, people get excited. It's so awesome. And that's why we've talked about before. Xiaoma NYC.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you guys, watch his YouTube. That right there makes me want to learn every language and travel the world.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's cool. The program is cool. 10-minute lessons, handcrafted by over 200 language experts, built to be approachable, accessible, rooted in real life conversations. It's easy to learn how to order food, ask for directions, speak to merchants, the type of things like that, where you can engage with someone, you can get a human response, and that motivates you to do it. You know what I mean? Not just like a bunch of random words, but being able to get a human response. They also have like speech recognition technology, so you can say a word and then it can actually help you with pronunciation, which is kind of sick as well. Over 16 million subscriptions sold, 14 award-winning language courses, backed by their 20-day money-back guarantee. So it's pretty sick. There's a special limited time deal for our listeners. Right now, you can get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for podcast listeners at babbel.com/pogcast. Get up to 60% off babbel.com/pogcast, spelled BABBEL.com/podcast. Rules and restrictions may apply. Thank you so much to Babbel for sponsoring this episode. Now,
gracias.
I do want to, like, before we move off the arena breakout stuff, I will say I've played it. Crack it, baby. Crack an ice cold DP.
Doctor, no, it's a lukewarm DP. I drink. Am I weird? I drink my soda room temperature.
That's weird.
I don't like unless it's beer. I don't like super cold drinks.
I drink my stuff at room temperature eventually because I'm the slowest drinker of all time, but I need it cold at first.
Yeah, see, maybe it's because I have like, I don't know, fucking sensitive teeth or something, but yeah.
I like my water room temp, but soda, I prefer to be chilly willy.
Oh, see, that's the thing is if I'm drinking water, I'm thirsty. and I want it to be cold because then it feels like.
Yeah, but I can't drink as much if it's cold. If it's like ice cold, I guess cool water is the best.
I mean, listen, I don't know, God, cancel me, I guess.
Yeah, literally canceled. Next week, I'm looking for a new podcast host. What I wanted to do is cap off the Arena Breakout stuff by talking about two things. The differences that I do think, because I played it for 3 days now, the differences I do think it does bring to the table that makes me sad that this is like mired in controversy, because I think it does bring some interesting things to the table, and some of the quality of life things. We start there, dude. The Arena Breakout devs have read the Tarkov subreddit more than the BSG devs have. It's crazy. Everything you've ever wanted is in this game. Like, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. The menus and stuff like that, and a lot of experiences are a lot more intuitive and easier to do. There's a quick equip button. So there's a
it's not hard though. You
Correct.
Just play the game, and the things that BSG should have put in the game, they'll just occur to you.
Yeah,
because you'll be annoyed by the lack of them.
There's underneath your character, there's a quick equip button where you click it and it brings you to a menu of the most common items, and it's contextual. So, for example, if I have an MP5, when I click Quick Equip, it brings me a menu. And the top left of that menu is all of the MP5 magazines there are in the game. And it will tell me if I have any of them. But let's say I don't. I want 2 50-round mags and 2 30-round mags. I just click 1, 2, 1, 2. If I have them in my stash, it will put them on my body. If not, it will quote me a price for them, and I can buy them from the flea market on that screen. But that's...
So there's a flea market?
Yeah. And it's old flea. You can buy, like, there's no found in raid, everything. Like, the minute you get the flea market, you can buy endgame gear. It's everything. It's old Tarkov flea. But the quick equip menu has contextually things that you would need for the gun in your hands, like the magazines and ammo for your gun. It also has all of the med items and consumable items and utility items like grenades. So instead of scrolling around my stash, double clicking on cases where I have meds, dragging them over, where are my grenades, dragging them over, do I have a bandage? Oh, I bought an extra CMS kit. I had 3 CMS kits, but I didn't see them. You just click Quick Equip. You just load your dude out with what you want. It says you've got these things. We've automatically equipped them. You don't have these things. Would you like to buy them? Here's how much it costs. One button, boom, and then now they're on your body. It's so wonderful. It's so wonderful, dude. You can, this is exactly what I've always wanted in Tarkov. You can move while packing mags. There's no animation. It's not click, click, click. Your hands are just off screen, and there's a little circle that's filling up slowly, and you can move around and look around and cancel it at any time. And you can just be in the goddamn game while you're packing your magazines. It's a beautiful thing.
Can you imagine wearing jeans that have like a button and a fucking zipper?
Whoa.
It's like, dude, I've been wearing these fucking pants that don't have either.
Yeah.
I just kind of have to use scissors to get them off every day. It's crazy, dude. That what the fuck? Why? Oh,
yeah.
Never mind.
The healing system, it basically in the bottom left, it boils it down. There's a button, the V button. The game basically does whatever you need it to do. Whatever.
That wasn't my best metaphor. Sorry.
Whatever you need it to do. If you need to heal, if you need to stop a bleed, if you need to do surgery, if you need to fix a break or whatever, basically you can just click V and it's always going to keep healing you, but not just with one thing, with whatever you need. So it's like complicated medical system boiled down to one thing because you can batch sell stuff. You don't have to worry about selling in this game. You don't have to worry about like, who do I sell what to? You either sell it on the flea market or you sell it to the traders. And so,
oh my God, that was always such an annoyingly fucking arbitrary thing.
Yeah.
Was just being like, I can sell it for $10 to person A or $9 to person B.
Yeah.
I would just rather have it be $9. I'd never have to worry about it. But yeah.
Yeah. Also, the painkiller effect in the game is Tarkov's old painkiller effect where it's sharpening.
Oh, hell yeah.
What else? The way insurance. So there is no insurance in the game. You can't insure items. However, if we were duoing and you die, okay, and I grab your gun and your helmet and 2 of your mags and I extract. In between me extracting and getting back to the menu, it takes that stuff out of my inventory and sends it to you in a message. And you just get it back.
Wait.
Yeah.
I think I missed that. Say that one more time.
If we are duoing and you die and I say, I'm going to get your gun for you.
Mm-hmm.
When I extract from that raid, I never have your gun when I get to my stash. It's already in your messenger. Anything I have on me, and this actually does have some downsides, by the way. Anything I have on me that you had on you gets mailed to you automatically. The benefit of that is there's no, I've got your contacts and your gun and 2 mags. You need 1 mag and meds, but I have your grenades and you need a backpack. And then we spawn into the raid and I have to drop it all on the floor while you pick it up and I wait. None of that's in the game.
Bro, I always needed the gear because I was always like broke the few times I played with everyone.
Yeah.
And I always was like,
just fucking, I don't care. Just keep it.
Because I couldn't.
Yeah.
It's so cringy to me to be like, oh yeah, you just grab 2 grenades, 4 mags. You got to pack them, make sure you have contact.
Just get it, and you can decide if you want to build your kit based on that or not. I never. And here's what's intuitive about it, because this has happened. I had a small bag, you had a big bag, so I picked up your bag because you had a big bag, so I can take out more stuff. So I took your stuff and I took some of the stuff that I off the guy I killed. But it's your bag, but I filled it up. When the raid ends, it's giving you your bag back. But before it gives you your bag back, it goes through your bag, pulls out everything that should be mine and mails it to me. So even when things get weird, where like if I had to use your backpack or use your rig, basically what I'm saying is the system is smart enough to know what's yours and know what should be mine. And it gives everything to everybody perfectly every time, 10 out of 10 times.
So if you extract with your buddy's backpack, but all the shit that you looted, it like removes everything, puts them in messages.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's I think I might have even
it's super intuitive.
Recommended that in a video because that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned this before because so many of the right ways to do things in Tarkov gets complicated because of their janky inventory system, just like building and buying guns. Remember how you'd go to build a gun and it was like, sorry, can't manufacture it because there's not enough room.
Yeah.
And it's like, just give it to me in a message.
Yes.
Or put it in the whatever the extra space.
Yep. The sorting table. Yep.
Put it in the sorting table. Like there's so many. That's an easy way rather than implement some algorithm that goes through and sorts everything and moves around. Just do the simple thing and
put it in the message. And then
so that's only insured though, or is it everything you took in?
Everything you took in. There is no insurance. And so a lot of people are putting it in chat. It definitely has implications on RMT because I cannot drop you gear. Because if I'm like, let me bring you a foul for you to try, if I drop it for you at the beginning of the raid and you pick it up and you extract from that raid, it goes back to me. So the negative of that is like you actually can't give your buddy anything because they can't take it. The positive of that,
Breakout is the ultimate hardcore experience.
Yeah, but the positive of that is you can't RMT because you literally cannot drop something for someone and have them keep it. It is not possible. Now, there have also been messages, which is fair, which is that like there's no need for RMT because they're going to sell you everything. It's going to get microtransactioned out the wazoo, which is understandable. But that's
unheard of.
That is an interesting.
Wow, that had a triple on.
Wow.
I swear to God, that was unintentional.
Unheard of, you say?
That was like a quadruple entendre. I didn't even intend it. Okay, Kendrick. Wait.
Kendrick Lamar, what? Kendrick Drake beef. Don't worry about it.
All I know is something about that. Someone got shot. I don't.
So that's an interesting mechanic that it combats RMT and it also is just hella nice. Now, because there's no insurance, I would like to see that potentially alongside insurance, because if you're playing in a squad and all your friends die, there's even more pressure on the guy that lives to like get the stuff out because there's no insurance. So you can't ditch it. So now you can't really loot anything because everyone wants their guns back, and it's super intuitive. If I get your guns, I don't have to bring it in. But it's like, but I want to loot the guys I killed. You know what I mean? So that system alongside an insurance-like system, I actually think would be kind of sick.
So here's the thing. Everybody then just needs to grow a pair. Don't be a bitch.
Oh,
If you're the one that dies, you say, emphasize,
bro, just grab their guns, grab it, forget my stuff, whatever.
And then there's no problem.
Yeah, that will be...
What sucks is when you're like, I have to get my guy's stuff out.
No, for sure.
But when they say don't do it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Cool.
In this game, you would just basically have to accept that when you die, your stuff is gone. For the most part. Some of the other stuff is there's a map. Holy shit, there's an actual map. That lets you like mark stuff. And
so unrealistic.
And every quest has a quest marker on the map. If you need to go to a place and get a thing, it tells you where to go to get it. If you go up to a door that's locked and you press F on it, it tells you what key you need for that door. There are teammate indicators that fade away. If you're far enough away, you can't see them. But there are teammate indicators, which is, I know, very arcadey. I know the Tarkov people started shaking in their boots at that. Yeah, the grenade indicators, and they're crazy. If there's a grenade in the hemisphere you exist in, you get one of those little red grenade indicators. I actually hate those, but yeah, there is no.
But does that counter the whole, like, when an AI throws a grenade and you hear ding, 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 and you're like, which direction do I run?
No,
I don't know where to go. Is it a little arrow?
Yeah, I think there is. I can't remember if it's an arrow.
Me, if there's no arrow, it's irrelevant. If there's an arrow that shows you like the direction, I actually would prefer that, because you don't have real full field of view. You can't hear things. Yeah. You don't get to track it, like whatever. So like,
yeah, okay, there is an arrow. Okay, but it's just like, it's crazy. It just comes up super early. It is nice. It is usable though. The questing markers. Okay. So, and then there's like loot tiers. Like there's purple loot and gold loot. You know, the classic video game system of legendary, exotic, whatever. So it's got a HUD, or it's got a compass up top where you can like see if you've marked quests and stuff like that. So the quality of life is just almost everything the community has ever wanted. There's just so much less resistance. I literally was fed. It wasn't even landmark. Oh yeah, that's the other one. No, there's no friendly fire. You can't shoot your friends. I think you can grenade them, but you can't shoot them. And then the other thing that's super fascinating is you can take a backpack and roll it up if it's empty into like so much less space, which helps with stash management. And you can take out your buddy's backpack without having to stack them all.
That was like one of the first ideas I ever had for Tarkov. I'm like, why can't I put backpack? Like, why can't I roll them up and whatever?
Yeah. And you can do that with rigs too. Empty rigs.
And in Tarkov, you can't even put a backpack.
Yeah, you just can't put two trizips inside of each other because Lamau, RMT. Yeah.
Imagine if there was some other way of like solving that fucking.
Yep. I was going to say something. I forgot. I don't know. The quality of life features, they work. Oh, I was fed a clip. I don't even think it was from Landmark's TikTok. It was somebody posting a clip of Landmark's stream, but he was like, it just doesn't feel like I'm fighting the game. Like the resistance, like it doesn't feel like the game doesn't want me to play it. And I was like, yeah, dude, that is how it feels. And then the game does bring some differences to the table that change the vibe and how it feels. Namely, some of those things that make the word arcadey gets thrown around and people lose their minds. In every conceivable way, or at least on these lists of things, it's more arcadey, but more arcadey than kicking in the nuts doesn't mean Call of Duty. It just, we're clicking the dial a few clicks. Like the game is still brutal. I am struggling to make money in the game I'm dying a lot. I'm getting one-tapped a lot by players. I lose all my stuff when I die. Like, the game is still hardcore by gaming standards. But if we take Tarkov as the edge of the spectrum, almost everything is clicked 1 or 2 towards arcadey. Once again, no friendly fire, compass up top, teammate indicators, all the quest markers. I don't dislike those things. The arcadey is not a diss. It's just, it's all moved a little bit that direction, which I think the genre could stand. Something a few clicks, farther in that direction than...
I'm fine with everything you just listed. If it were up to me, I'd probably turn friendly fire on. But
me too.
But that's the only thing. If there's teammate indicators, then friendly fire isn't bad game design.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then it becomes I fucked up and not,
yeah,
the game fucked me because I didn't memorize that you wear the green and purple armband and have USEC Two-Face and
exactly.
the sound is bad.
Exactly.
And
it adds to the stakes without the stakes being arbitrary. It's like, I should have seen, I should have known. And the teammate indicators really do. You know how many times I've died in Arena Breakout embarrassingly because chat's like, dude, you knew that was an enemy. There wasn't a teammate indicator, but my brain hasn't caught up with that yet. I've looked at people and yelled into the mic, is that you? Is that you? And died. And then chat's like, idiot, there wasn't. And I'm like, you're right. I am an idiot, but I'm so conditioned to just question everything that I can't even live in the freedom of like, that's an enemy. Shoot him in the face. I'm still like, is that you? Is that you? Is that you? And so I think it'd be cool if friendly fire was on, but I think they did it in the mobile game to reduce griefing. I think griefing got crazy because there's because you can autofill if you want. So I think
so you just get like little tweakers.
I think, I think they did it.
Tweakers is a different thing.
Yeah. I think they did it to change griefing. Now here's the other thing, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this because this is one of the biggest differences in this genre that plays to the strengths of instanced maps, right? Like Tarkov is 30 minutes, 40 minutes, instance map. There are, as I understand it, 3 versions of every map. There's normal mode, there's lockdown mode, and there's the forbidden zone. And when you're in the normal mode, it fills it with players. Anybody can play normal mode, whatever. In lockdown mode, all of the loot gets buffed. It's like higher tier loot. It's not all good loot, but the chances of good loot are higher, and the AI are harder, and the AI have better gear. And so what it does is it naturally attracts more geared players to the higher tier lobbies to get better loot, and therefore the PvP is better, which you can get even more
less
loot.
Likely to have like a hatchet runner because you'll get fucked up.
Exactly. And then there's the forbidden zone, which, as I understand it, is only available like certain times of the day. And it's another tier up, where in the forbidden zone, it costs you money to enter. You have to have $80,000 worth of gear on, and the loot is buffed again. So it's even higher stakes, nutty loot, but it's going to be Giga Chads. You have to bring good gear. And so it's like labs. Oh, and as far as I understand it, once again, correct me if I'm wrong, you can't scav in the higher tier lobbies in lockdown or in forbidden zone. So it's almost like labs in that you have to pay an entrance fee and you don't have to worry about player scavs, but it's not like labs because it's all the maps. You can play lockdown and you can play forbidden zone of all the maps. And it's basically, it just attracts the Giga Chads to the top. So there's like layers of the gameplay. And I don't think I'd want that in Tarkov, but I think I kind of like it because it just kind of plays to the whole instanced servers thing. I don't know.
Why does this low effort copy pasta blatant plagiarist game just better than Tarkov?
Dude,
it sounds
this is the full circle.
It's so fucking embarrassing that that's the case.
Dude,
it sounds like it's so
thank
fucking
you
embarrassing.
For the full circle. When I started this, it was like, there's so many layers to this. And when you lay out that like, oh, this is pretty obviously copying Tarkov, you're like, yeah, that's kind of lame. But
yeah, except what they didn't copy was the dog shit part.
Dude, that's what I'm saying is that. Oh, also, by the way, now do you understand what I mean when I said they didn't need to copy the bronze lion? They didn't need to copy the extract. Like, that's what I was saying earlier, where I was like, they copied things that were so unnecessary. They made a game that performs well, has a big player base, has infinitely more quality of life features, and has interesting new mechanics brought to the table that Tarkov doesn't have. They didn't need the bronze lion and the extract and the scavving. It was like, this is actually kind of a nasty game.
It's not a shit cake. It's a raspberry cake with like olives on top.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, why?
Like, they didn't invent cakes, right?
Yeah.
But it's not a shit cake. But also there's like, why did they put olives?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's like, yeah, exactly. It's the guy cheated off your test, reformatted it to be a better format, read through all your answers, realized which ones you got wrong, corrected them, and turned it in. So did you cheat? Yes. But you also showed that you were intelligent enough to not need to. So why did you? That's a great way to put it, because it was like, did you copy some stuff? Yes. But you guys have shown that you understand what parts of the game need to be hardcore to make them engaging, and you understand what parts of the game need to be arcadey to make it fun, and you brought new equipment to the table that fit the genre well. Why did you steal that stuff? That's where I'm at. I'm like, oh, dude.
Because people wanted it. Because that's exactly what so many people wanted.
I think people wanted everything except for what was some of the stuff that was stolen. I don't think anybody cares about bronze lions.
No, I know, but just everything.
Oh, yeah.
Everything else, right? It's like, oh fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say.
I hear the people that are saying because players wouldn't be attracted to it if it wasn't copying Tarkov. I just wholeheartedly disagree, because once again, every game that has come along,
I remember now.
Yeah, say it. Every game that has come along in this genre has gotten a free, humongous marketing push by every Tarkov streamer. Like, the Cycle Frontier got it and they weren't able to last. Marauders got it and they weren't able. It's like, all of us would be streaming and playing it without those things. They would have gotten that free, huge marketing push, and then it would have been like, oh shoot, this game is nasty. You know what I mean? So, I just find some of those olives on top. I guess I just don't buy that the olives on top are the reason everybody was attracted to the cake in the first place. I don't think so.
No, it's because it was a cake, and they love the cake. They're just sick of the shit.
Let's just keep going with the shit cake analogy.
But the cake, like, here's the thing. I feel like, it seems to me like people are liking this way more than Gray Zone. And Gray Zone is like as close as you can get to the water without your eyes getting wet. Okay? To quote philosopher Old Greg. Without your eyes getting wet. It's like,
no, I think Gray Zone is a way different game, and I think Gray Zone is cheesecake, and people thought it was going to be cake.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. But see, here's the thing. Gray Zone is the kind of game where if you're like, I love this idea, let's start fresh and see what we can do.
Yeah.
But like, there's a lot that's in common.
Yeah.
It's
an
for extraction shooter.
Yeah.
Like, that is realistic, hardcore in this setting that has, there's a lot in common. For
sure.
And I think that a lot of the differences there is enough that Tarkov people are like, it's why it's like a lot of Tarkov people, there's a lot of overlap, right?
Yeah.
But I would say the majority of Tarkov people wouldn't enjoy Arma in the same way.
Yeah, correct.
Wouldn't enjoy Battlefield in the same, but they would enjoy a better Tarkov. That's why a lot of people played single player Tarkov.
For sure.
It's because it was like, it's Tarkov, not shitty.
I agree.
And what this company did is they just made that official.
We're
copy this thing kind of unashamedly because that's what people want.
I agree. I just think, and I think I'm maybe not explaining it well. I completely agree with that. And that's what I was saying earlier, where I was saying what the genre needed was a game more similar to Tarkov. Not a space game, not an open world game, not an Arma game, not another planet game, a game similar to Tarkov. But what I'm saying is that like Tarkov invented cake. Everybody was like, we want more cakes, but different flavors. All the other games that came out were different desserts, and some of them were good, but they weren't cake, and we wanted cake. And Arena came around and offered Arena Breakout cake with olives on it. And what I'm saying is that people keep telling me that the only reason we wanted the cake is because of the olives. And I'm saying, no, I think we wanted cake, and I think the cake would have sufficed. And when I say the olives here, I'm talking about like extracting no backpack, extracting 2,000 rubles for the thing, a bronze lion in the game. I'm saying those things had no weight. Nobody saw a bronze lion in the marketing and saw, oh my God, that's like Tarkov. I'm going to play that game. Everything else is the cake, the extraction, the gritty. Yeah.
I'm going to improve the cake metaphor.
I love this. This has literally been like a 2-year metaphor of the shit cake.
The shit cake has been going on.
It's so long. I love it.
It's like a multi-tiered shit cake, right? Except the 2 middle layers, right, have chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
What we really wanted was chocolate cake. Tarkov was a shit cake with chocolate layers and olives on top. And this game was like, I know what people want. A chocolate cake with olives on top. And it's like,
that's a great way to put it. Yes, that's a great way to put it. Yeah. They didn't add the olives out of the blue. That's a better way to put it. They did understand exactly what we wanted and gave us that, which was a chocolate cake, not a shit cake with a little bit of chocolate. But they didn't understand that we also would have left the olives behind, that you don't need the olives. And they brought them over anyway.
Just don't copy paste that file, Tencent.
Yes. I'm with you. I'm with you on this analogy 100%. The things that are the most real copy pasta from Tarkov are the unnecessary things. I don't give a shit how I extract. I don't care how long it takes me to scav. I don't care what items I'm looting out of filing cabinets. And because you took all that, it's so on the nose Tarkov, and it's on the nose in the sense that who wants olives on a cake? But they did fix the cake. They did fix the cake.
And here's the thing. What seems to me to be more significant, all right, of the fact that there's some Chinese Tencent subsidiary that copy-pasted the game and they're going to make it mobile. That, to me, in and of itself, is like par for the course. Grab every product I have on my desk here, and it's just that shit.
Yeah.
But it's that if what they had was made by the Gray Zone developers, I would say give it 3 months. This will be the game we asked for. It's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's going to be flawless. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that these guys are going to give enough fucks to if this was any other developer, what we'd be saying is the game's been out for a couple of days and it's like 98% of the way there.
Yeah.
All we need to do is speak up and they can tweak a few of these things and it's going to be amazing. But instead, it could very well be not the most unreasonable thing to be like, maybe these people just aren't going to care because it's a money grab.
Yeah.
It's not a passion project.
Correct.
Now, a lot of good things come from money grabs.
For sure.
Because they want to, you can't sell someone something that they don't want to buy that isn't somewhat decent, right? But if they could milk this, ride the wave at 90%, put no more effort into it, put microtransactions in, make a bunch of money, and then move on to the next Candy Crush saga.
100%.
Fuck, right?
And that is how we have to pin and like close off the Arena Breakout discussion, which is that like we've talked about how it wears its Tarkov heart on its sleeve. We've talked about how there's allegations of like legitimately code stealing. We've talked about how all of the ways this game iterates on Tarkov or quality of life stuff over Tarkov are really great. But at the end of the day, it's the beta. We don't know what the monetization is going to look like, yes. And even if they did fix the shit cake and make it a chocolate cake, they still have plenty of time to put a steaming pile of shit on it before they officially serve it to us. So all I can go off of is the information I have right now, which is the game I'm playing right now. As I understand it, in the mobile version, you have to pay a subscription to get a secure container. It's like $5 a month to just even get one. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Battle Pass and
now you're starting to lose me.
Yeah, exactly. And Battle Passes, and I don't know if you can buy currency. I don't know if you can buy gear. I genuinely don't know how pay to win the mobile version is. Presumably, once again, it's a free-to-play game, so I think it's safe to assume they're going to sell everything. It would be nice to be pleasantly surprised, and if it was just cosmetics and skins.
You're going to get little banner ads popping up selling you Preparation H,
yeah.
So you're going to have to click through before you collect your insurance.
Yeah, exactly. So there's still time. I'm not preaching the gospel saying it's the greatest game ever. I'm saying it's kind of lame that they copied Tarkov. It's super lame and mad weird if they copied Tarkov's actual code. They didn't need to because they actually have a cool game on their hands and iterated on it really well, but there's still plenty of time for them to ruin it. You make up your own mind about it. I genuinely don't care. But it's an interesting thing, and they have plenty of time. Now, before we move on and talk about the last few things, I'm going to take a second and thank the third and final sponsor of the stream, and that is Mando. If you've ever heard of Lumi, well, this is Lumi for men. Clinically proven, doctor-developed formula for cologne quality scents for men. They've got a whole package of stuff. They got all sorts of stuff. They got deodorant. They've got like almost like liquid deodorant and like lotion that smells amazing. They've got body wash. They've got bars of soaps. And it's like full body deodorant or all over deodorant. You can put it anywhere that you smell. Anywhere that you smell. Okay. It's like deodorant for any part of your body, which is nice. Yeah.
Amen, dude. Amen. Like, this is how I know I'm past the point of no return and I'm a boomer, that I like look forward to the like not auditory, what's the smell sensation?
Nostrilatory.
Yeah, that I like genuinely look forward to hopping in the shower and just like olfactory experience that is having something nice in the shower to get clean, to smell good.
Bro.
Because I haven't since, I was like dating.
Yep. And
it's so good.
It's nice to have like scents that aren't like Suave for Kids, Watermelon, Jolly Rancher. You know what I mean? I just like, I never change anything. And so I just use the same stuff for so long. And so it's nice to have like scents that I feel like an adult when I smell this way, like bourbon leather. And it's not what you think. It doesn't smell like a cigar shop. It smells just like.
No, they like, all genuinely smell super unique and very good.
Mount Fuji is, I think, my favorite one. They just smell good, and you can do it once again, however you want. Body wash, the whole body deodorant that's almost like a lotion. It's like a squeeze tube. There's soaps. And it really is super cool. So Mando is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, packages, belly buttons, butt cracks, literally anywhere you want to put it. Created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was misdiagnosed and mistreated often. It's aluminum-free, baking soda-free, cruelty-free, dye-free. So it's pretty sick. You can get the Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. We've got a discount code to get you hooked up. You can go to, it equates to over 40% off the starter pack. New customers get $5 off the starter pack, and the starter pack is basically 40% off when you use it. You can use code POGCAST at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Use code PODCAST. Thank you to Mando for sponsoring this episode.
Привет.
Привет. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about is, did you read Nikita's tweets?
I saw a couple, and I read them in Trump's voice now at this point.
Dude.
I find it hard to
because once again, if you've made it this far in the podcast,
it's been a rough couple of weeks. We wanted to keep it quiet, but it's up to you to decide if you want to support QAnon. I mean, EOD.
Yeah.
I don't know, just like,
so if you made it this far in the podcast, then hopefully you understand, what nuance is. And as a part of this conversation, I have been extremely critical of Arena Breakout and the things I don't like about it. I've also said that I enjoy Arena Breakout. I've been extremely critical of what Tarkov has done over these past few weeks, but I've also said that it's still probably my favorite game of all time. But this shit is rough, dude. So
we are the United.
Dude.
I can't. I was
bro. Okay.
I lost the Trumpism.
It's okay. We want to keep it quiet. If you would like to support this kind of things and stick to games that are not only entire genre, but do not hesitate to copy what's been done. So not that crazy for him to, kind of be like, listen, mad that they're stealing our shit and we're mad about it, right? Like, that is kind of, to a certain extent, understandable. But it's some of the other stuff with like, so the fact that he's positioning it as, you guys decide for yourself if you want to support this garbage, is weird, because if you're not like a chronically online like I am, if you're not super into the, like, how would you know that Arena Breakout is stealing stuff? What did I miss?
So I'd prefer to read Nikita's tweets in Gilbert Gottfried's voice. Now the real question: do you like avocado?
Yeah.
I've never attempted Gilbert Gottfried. I'll need to like workshop that one, chat.
Yeah.
In the mirror.
But does that make sense? So it's like,
yeah, no.
If you found out you got a friend, and you find out your friend's girlfriend is cheating on him, and you break that news to him by going up to him and being like, wow, I can't believe you're still with her. She's been cheating on you. And he goes, she's cheating on me? Like, the tone of like, you guys decide if you want to support this thievery. If you're not like chronically online, you just might not know that any of this is happening in the first place. You know what I mean? And then the like, some people have accused me of being short-sighted and even stupid based on recent events, but those who know me have always known my integrity, hard work, and care for everyone. Like, I don't know. It's just weird to be like, piss off everybody and just be like, well, my integrity is crazy good. And then like, the last tweet was just like,
everyone who knows me,
exactly.
Ask anyone.
And then it ended with, we are the unheard, reveal the future together, long live hardcore.
That's so fucking cringe.
It's so cringe and so culty. And my problem with it is, herein lies. Have you ever heard the term unheard used in a context of Escape from Tarkov before the Unheard edition? You've been around even longer than me.
It came out of nowhere. It has no meaning. It's completely and utterly meaningless. All it has now is the irony attached to the fact that they didn't hear the player base.
Ding.
It came out as it was released as it didn't like shift. It never had any meaning other than.
So that's what I'm saying. There was no lore. Scam. It's not graffitied on the walls anywhere. It came up with this, and now all of a sudden, it's a badge of honor. Like, I'm not trying to split hairs here and be semantics. All I can say is I interpret that as just like a octuply doubling down on the just like, we're right, you're wrong, you're such whiny crybabies. Like, now we are the unheard. Like, A, that's so just like culty and weird. And B, it's like, that's such a weird thing to wear as a badge of honor. It's such a mad weird thing to just suddenly, we are the unheard. It's like,
bro, here's the thing. We are reading, we are interpreting that. So we have to think about this. I at this point, I see that and I'm just convinced that he is in another world, completely detached from what the player base, the community is feeling right now.
yeah.
So what he's doing and saying, it means something different to him that in another world, in a parallel universe, wouldn't be crazy. We'd all be like, fuck yeah, brother. But like, he's just out of touch.
100%.
That's it.
Like, that
He's
would make sense if it was like, I don't know, if they had done something that like got everyone excited and then you wore that. Like hardcore was a badge of honor that he would wear in the early days a lot. He would talk a lot about like hardcore experience, and the community would be like, yeah, dude, like, we're the community. We're here for the hardcore experience, because he was providing that and people liked it. But this is just so cringe to wear as a badge of honor, because it exclusively reminds the community of like, yeah, we just like literally don't understand what you think or want at all. And also, we don't think we did anything wrong.
Well, so here's the thing. There's a world in which he spams a bunch of stuff, doesn't read any of the responses, because like he's a content creator to some extent, like, right? Like, he doesn't go through and read the hundreds of responses to all of his things. He just responds to his own tweets with more ramblings. Okay. And then, so here's the thing. There's always been haters bitching and mobbing against things forever. They were just kind of a loud minority.
Yeah.
So if he's completely disconnected, getting all of his news from all of the people that are probably just dick riding because he's the boss and you don't want to whatever, and he's out of touch like he's always been for fucking years, completely disconnected from the game and from the community that we've demonstrated time and time and time and time again. And those of us who have been connected and are close to it can tell you that's just the truth, right? That he might not realize. Okay, if we were at TwitchCon, last week, and half of the people were saying, "Hey, fuck you, Nikita," and walking away, as opposed to being like, "Yo, this is sick, this is whatever," he might get a fucking clue that he fucked up, and maybe he would change his tone. But I think he thinks there's got to be people rallying behind me. He doesn't see the faces and the voices of the unheard, which is even more fucking ironic than it was 30 seconds ago.
I think I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think that is the case. All of the Reddit responses,
it might not be.
Yeah, but I understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying, once again, you rightfully so have escaped Tarkov, and I'm still living and breathing it. Every single one of those Reddit responses I read last week that were like super tone deaf were written by Nikita. It was Train Fender. Like, he's responding. He sent these freaking drunk
responding to responses like
all the Reddit posts were his, and he was like commenting on some of the comments. Like, he understands the hate. He really does. Also, all these like drunk freaking tweets he did, he also went on an unhinged rant of like responding to like everybody's tweet. Like, he responded to a bunch of the comments of this tweet. Like, randomly, Nixia was just making a joke about how like, she was like, she quoted herself. The tweet was like, I'm not a big fan of Arena Breakout. Twitch chat. Oh my God, I can't believe you support BSG. And she was like making a joke about how like those things are not one and the same. And Nikita responded to her tweet. She didn't tag BSG. She didn't tag. Nikita responded to her tweet and said, "Thank you for the support." And so, like, he's on a rampage.
Huh.
I don't know where it came from.
I wonder why that might have been.
Yeah. Anyways,
he probably wouldn't say that to me if I posted it.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So here's the thing. That last tweet, "We are the unheard, reveal the future together. Long live hardcore." What many people have found to be funny about that is A, "We are the unheard," super cringy to wear that as a badge of honor. Long live hardcore. Has Tarkov gotten easier or harder over the years?
I can't even...
Like, the fact that long live hardcore after adding additional pay for convenience features to Edge of Darkness and adding a whole, like, once again, we talked about the Unheard Edition. There was layers to the frustration, and I always have to go over this. There was the layer of the PvE thing, but one of the layers was like, this is a hardcore game. Please stop giving more pay to win or pay for convenience features. We don't like them. We want it to be a hardcore game. And then on the heels of that controversy, he says, long live hardcore. I found that to be so funny because it was like, well, then stop giving us assemble the Avengers buttons and bigger stash spaces and radios that make scavs not hit us from far away and more guns and meta SR25s to $250 versions of the game. You know what I mean? It was like, I just found that to be funny because
his next tweet is literally going to be, "I know a lot of you are really looking for additional ways to support us.
Yeah.
So here's a way that you can do that. We're opening up like a fucking GoFundMe."
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just funny because like over the past few years, and I'm not saying I agree with every single. I'm not saying I agree with every single one of these things, but over the past few years, a lot of people, especially the OG people that he would have called true believers before the Unheard Edition came out, have said that the game has losing its hardcore identity because like the flea market and recoil's gotten easier and it's easier to make money than it's ever been, and it's easier to scav than it's ever been. You used to have to wait 20 minutes between your scavs. Now, if you have high scav rep, you only have to wait 4 minutes between your scavs. The loot has gone crazy. Bitcoin's 1 billion rubles. The hideout was introduced, and now there's 8 different ways to make passive income. They keep adding more gear to the traders, meaning that you have access to even more gear. So once again, you don't have to agree with every single thing. I'm just saying it's just so fascinating to hear "we are the unheard" after unheard only has one connotation, and to hear "long live hardcore" at the tail end of people being like, you keep sacrificing the hardcore aspect of your game. Can we please have a hardcore game? And he's like, no, fuck you. Buy this $250 version of the game, but also long live hardcore. I think that's just like weird, in my opinion.
I think he has ascended to the point where, like, to this weird, fucked up, like, celebrity status where, like, all of these weird C-tier folks just lose connection with reality. The next time I'm trying to pull up my laptop because this is like a visual reference that I want to make. I feel like the next time we see Nikita like in public, where he's gonna have a vibe. I have a picture in my head, and my laptop battery died. There's a guy named Toshihiro Nagoshi. He's the guy who created Yakuza.
Okay.
He went through a fucking transformation, this man. He like looked like at one point, like before the Yakuza series, he just looked like a fucking Japanese businessman, right?
Yeah.
And then he went through this transformation of like plastic surgery and like all kinds of shit where he's just become like a character.
Yeah.
Have you seen Simon Cowell?
Oh yeah.
Recently?
He looks like a wax statue that was left in the oven. These people get to this weird point where they're so fucking detached, man.
Yeah.
And I think he's just there. And I don't know, like everybody wants to meme about all of these things about like, oh yeah, it's cocaine and blah, blah, blah. I don't know, man, if it's like money, celebrityship, business, stress, if he's living this crazy fucking lifestyle where it's all hookers and blow and he's just so fucking removed, living his life and he's like this fucking celebrity, right? Or if that's just the narrative that is easy to, I don't know, dude. I don't know. But
I don't know.
He's detached. It just seems like he's fucking detached.
And that's the thing, is it just like, we've been in the community for so long. We've heard him talk. We've seen him tweet. We've seen him on podcasts. We've seen him on Reddit. We've seen him post. It's just like recently since all this, it just feels like, because that's what a bunch of people are saying is like, well, these sound weird because it's language barrier. And it's like, dude, we've been hearing him talk about this game for so long. We've never, like, I feel like he needs to be ending some of these tweets with amen. You know what I mean? It's just the vibe is so different. These were difficult times, but my confidence in the future is stronger than ever. Reveal the future together. It's just like, I don't know. If you listen to the podcast, if you listen to PP, go ahead.
Weird cult vibes. I don't get those vibes. I get celebrity turned snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
Like drank their own Kool-Aid and they're like, I'm such a fucking god. I'm changing everything. And everybody around him's kind of like,
yeah.
I don't get culty vibes. I get like delusional. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny. And it's if you listen to the PP, then you know a little bit about my history. It's just like, I swear to God, I've had pastors saying the same things to me just about different things. I don't know. It's just once again, are we reading too much into it? Absolutely. But that's what the hell. Holy cow.
The next time we see Nikita, he's going to be like this.
Yeah, I hope so.
And he's going to be like just like completely detached from everything, and he's going to be talking about his next game that he's really excited about. Like, just picture fucking Tripolowski stripes on the and that's going to be it.
Tripolowski. Yeah,
he's lost in the sauce, is what
he's lost in the sauce.
The kids say these days.
Am I reading it too much into it? Yes, of course. That's what the hell this podcast is for. But I just read through those tweets and I was just like, God damn, brother. It's just so, once again, I can understand if people are copying your game being pissed, but just like the interweaving of the weird, I don't know. It's funny. I think it's funny. I don't know what the hell is going on. There's the whole side of it of like, and we don't have time because we're already late, but like, there's just the whole side of it of there's nowhere to go anymore. There's no like if I play Tarkov, every third message is like, I can't believe like they screwed you over and you're just going to support them like that. If I play Gray Zone, every third message is like, how much are they paying you to play this? You're literally, I had people that were convinced that I was getting paid to play it because I didn't look like I was having fun. And then if I play Arena Breakout, every third message is, I can't believe you're supporting this. After all BSG has done for you, they're stealing Tarkov and you're just allowing it. And it's like, you want me to play goddamn Pac-Man? Like what? You know what I mean?
They don't care about you or anything.
For sure.
Which is exactly
but
the
I
common
have to deal
thread.
With them.
No, I know.
Yeah, but no, you're right.
And trust me, a year ago, I'd be losing my mind, mauling at all these people because I see it differently now. These folks, they can't be helped, right?
Yeah.
They're not interested. They don't care. It's the common thread. It's the reason why people over here are saying, why are you playing this game? And people over here saying, why aren't you playing this game?
Yeah.
None of them care. They're going around to chats. They just want to cause drama.
Yeah.
Mommy didn't love them. Like they got bullied, whatever it is.
Sure.
Right. So,
and I'm hyper aware of that. Like, I'm hyper aware that they genuinely, like, don't care what I'm playing. They're just, looking for either attention or drama. And I'm also hyper aware that it's a super vocal minority. Like, once again, the flip side, it's been so weird because the drama has like entangled what would have otherwise been like a really good month. Because you and me have talked we've talked off stream, we've talked on the Patreon about like my fear of like branching out and playing other games. Like, this has been like the greatest month. I put 150 hours into Gray Zone, and like chat loved it, and a lot of people were showing up to support. I've had a few days of Arena Breakout. We tried some DayZ. Like, so I'm definitely aware that it's a vocal minority, but as we've talked about many times, saying don't feed the trolls isn't a solution. You know what I mean? It's not just that easy. You know what I mean? It's not. The conversation doesn't end with, well, it's just the vocal minority, bro. It's like, it's the vocal minority that's every 6 messages in my chat, and it's frustrating.
No, that's not remotely my.
No, it wasn't your point. I was saying that's like what people say to me after I say what I just said often. It's like, well, then just don't. If you know your community is so solid, then just don't feed the trolls. And it's like, I understand. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I wasn't saying you were saying that.
Yeah, no, I mean, once again, it's everybody is a victim of the Dunning-Kruger effect. and everybody knows they are not that person. Everybody is an above average driver, and everybody has 130 IQ.
Yeah.
Smile.
Stare.
And yet 40% of them are in the bottom 10%.
Yeah.
And don't know it.
Yeah.
So
it's been fascinating. It's been a crazy few weeks for sure, but I have had fun playing Tarkov the days I've played. I've had a ton of fun playing Gray Zone. I've had a ton of fun playing Arena Breakout. I'm sure I'll be playing all those games a little bit in the future. And it's like, I'm just a dude playing games. You know what I mean?
You're just a fucking
just a couple of
feather on the wind.
Yeah.
Like I watched Forrest Gump the other day.
It's just a couple of buds doing bud stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that complicated.
I can get down with some bud stuff.
Yeah. Just a couple of buds doing bud stuff. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's the stuff. A little bit of a longer episode. Lots of spicy drama. But at the end of the day, what this is doing is it is helping me expedite getting better at literally just like releasing it and letting it go and not caring and just like having a good time. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm here to do. Not every decision I make is a exclamation of a moral tent pole that you must abide by or I'm going to ban you in my chat. It's like, we're just a couple of buds doing bud stuff, trying to hang out. And so you guys are the best. Thank you for hanging. 2 hours and 37 minutes into this episode. If you made it this far, write bud stuff in the comments, Lamau. Thank you guys for hanging. Thank you to BetterHelp, Babbel, and Mando for sponsoring this episode. If you would like more conversations like this, well, you can get it. Go to patreon.com/thepodcastpod, where you can get early access to these episodes, early access and ad-free, and you can also get additional 1 hour conversations, sometimes longer because we like to talk, and they're pretty cool.
Us?
Yeah, us like to talk? No way. But yeah, so thank you guys for hanging. Thank you guys for being a part of the community. We love you long time, and we'll definitely see y'all on the next one.
Bye.